Eyes are closed, the scene is clear within your mind. Play the role, reveal the lore with the sage's rhyme. Throw the bones, roll fairly when those doubts arise. Chronicle from your choices, it comes to life. Rules at the ready, we call for results that are fair. Tradition survive to honor the rights of the game. Stand here beside us and take your place, Legionnaire. Whatever you play, our oath will remain the same. Standard, shoulder to shoulder we rise, with iron in our voice and light in our shield, we are one. From the page to the table, from the screen to the player's mind, Legend of Myth stands ready to headline. Ready to headline. So let's have some fun. Answer the call. Subscribe and share. Answer the call. Legionnaire.
Hello, Legionnaires, and welcome to a very special episode 254 of Legion of Myths RPG Digest. I am John Maxley Auschlow, your favorite curmudgeon, critic, and judge. Oh, there's going to be a lot of judging today. Along with me today is the Arrow Jock who is still looking for a roll of flight line, Brian, gaming with ADHD, insert last name here. What is good today, sir?
I'm still awake.
That is true. So Brian works night shift.
Didn't work last night. Was still awake though.
Well, you probably don't want to mess up your sleep schedule too much, right?
What sleep schedule?
Fair enough.
Nah, but it's good. And I promise the grandson screaming will probably be kept to a minimum.
Okay. Well, is he a Ninja Turtle?
No, but he likes playing with his Ninja Turtles.
There we go. So maybe.
No, seriously, bought like a little bucket of like big plastic green army men, but all the Ninja Turtles. Absolutely loves them.
Good man. Hey, I'm going to put this up. I'm not going to keep it up all show, but I'll put the little QR code up. There we go. That way. That is a link to the Palladium Books shop. They got the Christmas sale going on right now, or Christmas surprise package going on, I should say it that way, which is a sale for, I think it's $62 plus shipping. You get at least 105, usually much more in books. Give them a list of 10 to 15 items that you want, and they pick and choose from there because they want to keep some of it a surprise.
And you should do it by December 24th when it expires, never to be extended.
Never. Ever. Well, was it 2 years ago? They forgot until we told them because they were so busy working on the turtle stuff. We're like, so when's the Christmas surprise package going to? Oh, crap. Yeah, we were supposed to do that. That was awesome. I remember that. But no, it's a great deal. I unfortunately have not bought. I was furloughed for a while, and the way the government decided, they told us they're going to give us the money one way, but still did it the shitty way. So, yeah, I mean, money right now this year is not something I'm made of. So I have not bought any, but I had 2 Christmas packages bought for me as gifts. Thank you very much, Chris, out there for doing that. So that's something that you can consider as well. You're like, I've got all the Palladium books, but do you have a friend that has all the Palladium books? Are you trying to nudge his way into like, play this game? I like people even on my Discord today are talking about Dead Rain constantly. I hate zombies, but you know what? There are nothing but good things about Dead Rain. Maybe you want Dead Rain, or maybe you want your friend. Here you go. I can nudge you to play the game by buying them for you, and you're buying them at a nice discount. So
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm planning on getting at least one. I don't get to go nuts like I did last year. Stupid overtime being taken away.
Stupid not having a job for 41 days.
How dare you? Oh, yeah. No, but yeah, I'll chime in. It absolutely is a great deal. Just like whether you do 1, whether you do 6, whether you do apparently what's the record he said 21 or something.
Oh, he's crazy. Yeah, I was like wait a minute, hold on, let me put that amount together. That would be like well over $1,000.
Oh yeah, easy. But yeah, just whether you're doing 1 or a lot, it's definitely a good deal, especially if you're here in the States when shipping's actually decent.
Yeah.
But actually, speaking of, a lot of people overseas do use it because then they can actually get shipping. Well, the shipping plus the cost of the package gets the books more or less at retail, which they can't really find them at retail either. So,
yep.
Yeah. Still good.
Well, I did a lot of scrambling before the stream started today because I didn't do any preparation while I was, sitting on my on the premiere video that went up earlier. So that was dumb. So, yeah, I got it done with 41 seconds left to go. So that 8-minute timer is perfect. The only thing that wasn't updated, although I updated it yesterday, there's one name missing. I updated it, was the giveaway in case we have that. So this is going to be run like a normal RPG Digest, sort of, in terms of it's just on Monday instead of Sunday. Yesterday
and all we had the super chats come to me. No,
and all the super chats he thinks goes to him. Yes. We did our members only stream yesterday, and you watched the members only stream yesterday. You have a little inkling of what's to come today, but we're gonna focus on the combat section of the TMNT book since the moratorium was lifted, and I have an email to prove it, just in case. But no, so we're gonna look at the combat section. The premiere that happened earlier was a how-to guide on character creation. I've already got 3 thank yous and 1 complaint. The thank yous were like, that was great. And the complaint was, oh my God, that was too long. You didn't have to explain all of that. So let me say this one time here. That video is for new players. It's literally developed for people who have never touched maybe even a role-playing game before, let alone a Palladium game. So if you want something more concise, maybe someday in the future I will do that. But for now, that's that was the intent of it. Tomorrow's video will be on team character creation, and I will skip a lot of the stuff that I went through today because you can always just refer to individual character creation. And I thought that video was gonna be really short. I was mistaken. That video is almost as long as the one that went up today, but you have to show all those nuances of what it means to be a team character. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
So today is really, thank you for Brian for being here and helping out with this. But today is just going to be focusing on the combat section of the TMNT book. I don't know if I'm going to snip it into multiple videos or if I'm just going to leave it like this. Who knows? I don't know. At this point, we're just going to see how that shapes out. I don't have any announcements because of yesterday's members only live stream. If you're a member, you know. If you're not a member, well, you should become a member and find out. So with that, do you have anything you want to tell the fine folks out there other than your channel? I mean, obviously tell your channel and so forth, but anything else you want to tell people?
No, I don't have anything super fancy. Gaming with ADHD, or I guess I should also add in at reading wikis. For just,
it's funny, those things have like 1 view or like 100 views. It's like, what the hell,
man? I do like
I was looking at that. Oh, apparently that one was popular. Apparently that one was not.
Well, so the key here is, folks, if you want to watch any of those videos, just drop a comment. Tell me something you'd like to hear about. That's the biggest complaint I have about this new channel is people.
And there goes his internet stuff again. Apparently moving to a new room has not fixed his ISP woes. We'll wait for him to come back or drop out. By the way, if you watch the Wednesday stream that I do with Brian, so Brian's obviously he's got his own channel, Gaming with ADHD, and we're covering Mech Warrior First Edition, which is awesome. You'll see this happens a little bit. So hopefully he comes back here soon. Brave the Knight. By the way, you're the one name that was not added to the giveaway. If we have the giveaway, which I'll explain when we do our thank you share in a little bit here.
No.
Oh, you're back. But if we have the giveaway today, please remind me to add your name. Your name needs to be added to the list because you're a member now. I just didn't run the script before for running this live stream because, well, I was a dum-dum. So.
Anyways, sorry. I hope that's not an issue. It's been weird.
Only an issue when you talk.
Clearly. But hey,
so,
at least you can control the internet this time and, not have to worry about.
That is fair. And it's my show, so I can just make you look dumb the entire time.
I do that on my own.
But you were talking about that you want people to tell you the things that you'd like them to cover.
Correct. Yeah, because I basically right now it's just like, hey, I think that'll be interesting, and so I'll put that on my list. But then it isn't interesting to someone. And so anyways, so if you're interested in something and you don't want to read it, just tell me and I'll read it for you. Anyways, there we go. That's all.
There we go. All right. Well, I just kind of want to jump right into this today. So give me a moment here to actually, this is RPG Digest. This isn't just a rando stream. So let me put that up there. Let's thank a few folks and then let's dive into things here. So first and foremost, I am extremely grateful you are here, and I sincerely thank you for spending your time with us on this very special Monday. Normally we stream on Sundays for RPG Digest. It's normally Sunday at 1 p.m. And I know a lot of people are in church or watching football or whatever. I get it, but that's when we stream. I hope you enjoy this live stream. Share it with your friends and come back to join us again. Please consider supporting Legion of Myth or our charity, the Wounded Warrior Project, through the link in the live stream's description. You know what? Support Brian as well. Watch his channel, Gaming with ADHD, or what was the wiki one called again? Reading Wikis? Just Reading Wikis?
If they type in at Reading Wikis, they'll find it, or it's just Reading Wikis for you.
There you go. Perfect. And, support him as he's taking his sleep time out of today to join me for as long as he can.
I volunteered for this. You don't have, it's fine. I'm glad to be.
Dude, I'm trying to suck up to get people to throw shit at you. Come on.
No.
You're the monkey clapping right now, and you're just supposed to take the money. Where are we here? Rumble rants and super chats of less than $20. I will read at the end of each segment. They're not really going to be segments today, so we'll figure that out. $20 or more, I'll interrupt the segment to read your rant or chat as immediately as I can. And $50 or more, oh my God, it's a Monday morning, and yes, I'm already saying this. I will take a drink in your name, and you can force us to answer any tabletop RPG-related question of your choice right then and there. If we reach $100 or more in super chats or Rumble rants, there will be a $75 Palladium Books gift card giveaway towards the end of the stream. I'm removing the drive-thru RPG thing for today because we are just covering turtles. And if you're here for anything other than turtles, I don't know what to tell you. Legion Myth YouTube members and Rumble subscribers, as well as today's super chatters and Rumble ranters, have the opportunity to win, but you must be watching at the time of the giveaway to claim your victory, else it rolls over to next week. And thank you very much for your kind support and donations, whether to our charity or other charity Brian or to Legion of. Wasn't that nice how I did that? See,
I'm a charity case.
you're a charity case. All right, let me put that up on the screen. Going to do this official like here. And I'll even present, because Heathen Dog's not here. I can remember to present on my own. Always forget this part. There we go. All right, for our maybe only segment today, I don't know how I'm doing this because this is all off the cuff this time. We are going to be looking at the combat chapter in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness Redux Edition. We're literally just going to go through it word by word, discuss what it means, move on to the next one, throw some examples out there as well. So, yeah, let's just get the show on the road for this. Wow, that took forever. And I think that's the wrong one. Yeah, that's the right one. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. No framing today.
All right. 1 second. I will be right back.
Okay, sounds good. And thank you, Brave the Knight. He says, let's get started for $10. So not only is he a member, he also super chatted $10. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. If this cover looks a little different than yours, this is the Eastman Laird cover. So, yeah. Go full. Oh, I did not want to do that. I guess I can't go full screen. How do I get rid of my bar?
Try F9 or F8.
Is that what it is? I didn't know there's an F. Just says bookmark. There you go. Bookmark bars and show it. No, how about let's not show it? I guess. What the hell? Always, never. How about never? There we go. Just makes it a little bit bigger.
Right, but try F8 or an F9. Pull a bunch of the upper bar stuff off.
Really? F9. Well, I think I already did that. F8, F9 didn't do anything, but that's fine.
Oh, okay.
I think it's because I already did it.
Okay.
So,
oh wait,
cool.
Are you in Acrobat?
No. I do it through the browser. Acrobat. I don't need to use Acrobat for what I'm doing here, so I don't bother.
Got it. Never mind. I was talking Acrobat.
Yep. Yeah, Heathen Dog uses Acrobat. All right, let's So we want combat. Now, again, I just want to remind folks, I had a video that went out earlier today on the character creation process. So if you want to know how to create a character, watch that one. Tomorrow will be team characters, which will be interesting, I hope, for folks, because that is one of the unique aspects of TMNT that I don't think made it into any other Palladium game was the team character concept. So you could be like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it comes with some crazy benefits. And a few, we'll just say, agency drawbacks that I think are even with Sean's minor changes. I still think that team characters are OP. But your mileage may vary on that. But we want to go to page 84 and start looking at combat. Okay, there we go. Here's combat. All right. So how does combat work in TMNT Redux Edition? And I want to preface this by saying, longtime Palladium fans, you can complain if you want, but there's no reason to complain. We were all told that there was going to be some things that are going to come out in the Redux Edition that were going to make the game either more efficient or clarify things that should have already been mentioned, whatever. You are going to see some minor changes. The overall combat still runs the same that you're used to. Roll initiative, add your bonus to strike, use your action, blah, blah, blah. The nuances around those have been clarified, and I don't want to say changed, but that's the word I'm going to use. I'm sure Sean will like that, but for the purposes of the writing, I am going to do my best to not compare it to any previous edition of this game or any other Palladium game, and just talk about it, how this book is presenting it to you. Okay? I'm sure I'll fail, but that is my goal. So,
well,
Brian,
don't
how
forget,
much? What's that?
I was going to say, and don't forget, folks, like part of doing these deep dives is about looking at the rules as written. We're not looking at, yes, it's Palladium, and yes, they're like, oh, well, this one covers it like this, and this one has this rule that was updated. Don't worry about that. This is, what do people see when they get the book? So
right.
That's what we're doing. So.
Okay, so The TMNT combat system is based on the same rules as the rest of Palladium role-playing games. Designed to be cinematic, fast-moving, and easy to play, all combat actions, strike, parry, dodge, etc. are resolved by rolling a 20-sided die. Now, that is funny that he said are resolved by rolling 20-sided dice like there are multiples. It should have been a 20-sided die. I missed that one myself. Anyway, now, some people complain about this when it comes to Palladium, but I really, really like it. Roll percentile dice for skills. Roll a d20 for combat. I love that separation. Most skills take more than an action. Now, there are a few that will take an action, like your prowl, maybe a perception check or something like that, right? But many skills, like, I don't know, building a car, automotive mechanics, that's going to be more than an action. That could be minutes, hours, even days. And I like the idea of, and percentile dice is so intuitive as well. You know what your chances are. Sure, there are modifiers in there, but you know what your chances are. Everybody can think, roll percentile dice. I have a 50-50 chance of doing this. I have a 60-40 chance of whatever. And then combat is a little more, how would you say this? Traditional. And a little more, what's the term that they use when you can roll a 1 and a 20? It's not jumpy. What's the term?
Swingy?
Yeah, swingy, jump, something like that, in terms of what can happen, because combat is a scrum. So I like it. Now, resolving combat step by step. As in any role-playing game, when the heroes tangle with the villains, you have to figure out the results. Well, yeah, I have to know if I hit them or not, right?
One would hope.
I mean, I love it when the game master says, you hit him. Yes! Can I roll? You just kill him. Oh. But I wanted to roll and see if I killed myself instead. No.
But clicky math rocks.
Yeah. Oh, I love clicky-clack math rocks. I'm a dice pool guy. I find the D20, like the whole WotC just roll a D20 thing, boring as hell. Any game that is just D20. To be fair, I find most percentile-based games to be just as boring. I like games like the step system from Earth Dawn, or maybe Shadowrun goes a little too far in the dice pools, but the Free League system with the D6s, Star Wars D6 system with the D6s. I want to roll my clickety-clack math rock. No.
D20 is just a percentile as well, so.
Yeah, it's a percentile just broken into fives. To be fair, TMNT could be run on just D20s. Because unlike a lot of the other Palladium games where you'll have a skill that's 60 plus 4 or 55 plus 3 or 80 plus 2 or something like that, every level where you could have an 82% chance, here it's pretty much whatever plus 5. I haven't found one yet that is anything other than plus 5, although there might be one hidden in there that I missed. But TMNT is meant to be kind of the stripped down version. We'll call it the baby's first Palladium game. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but it is meant to be kind of stripped down, a little more fast paced, a little more, hey, let's just hit the ground running, go, where you don't have to try to decipher the Rift's Ultimate Edition book. So, I get it. My preference would be to have the plus 3s and plus 4s, but I absolutely get it. Why wouldn't? Now, when you're in combat, you can have an ambush. If combat is started by a successful melee snake attack. Shh, it's the snake. He's going to get you.
The snakes are very sneaky.
They are very sneaky. There you go. By a successful melee sneak attack or ranged surprise attack, the attacker always have the initiative. Okay, so this is a ruling, but it's in the rules. You don't roll initiative. Hey, I'm going to punch Brian right now. He's totally not expecting it. Okay? He doesn't get to roll initiative. He doesn't even see it coming. He doesn't know it's there. It's just going to happen. Now, does that mean I automatically hit? No. He still might have some reflexes, or I might trip over my own 2 feet or something, whatever. But I just get to go. There is no initiative in that one. The same thing for sudden violence, which is it's kind of like an ambush. When a character initiates the violence, the game master may decide that character has the initiative. All other characters' rolls below. So if there's 6 of us standing around and I just randomly punch Brian in the face, he's probably not going to be ready for that. And I'm probably going to get my attack. And the game master can rule that. The other people hanging around me are going to see that, and they're probably going to want to grab me or push me and Brian away or something like that. And so they need to roll initiative to see who goes next, including myself. So
what's the difference between ambushes and sudden violence? Because
really not much. An ambush is more of a positional attack. A sudden violence is more like, hey, we're just hanging out, and all of a sudden, whap! Whoa, why'd you just punch me? I personally wouldn't have had them as two different rules. I would have just described them the same way. But this is for clarity. An ambush, well, you didn't really ambush me. You weren't hiding under the leaves or whatever. It's for, I would say it's for clarity's sake.
Because got it. So ambush is sneak, sudden violence is I'm standing in front of you, but you're not ready for me to punch you in the face.
And again, I just think that should be the same rule, but I've seen the arguments at the table on that. No, he was standing. I see him. I should have a chance to dodge. You didn't expect your friend to punch you. Come on. You know?
Okay. It just took me a second for my brain to click, but yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Showdown. Otherwise, when combat begins, the initiative goes to whomever rolls. Yeah, that'd be whomever. Whomever rolls the highest on a d20 after adding initiative bonuses. In the case of a tie, re-roll. Nay, sir. Okay, we're doing rules as written here. I'll continue to do that. I don't re-roll ties. I just say the crap happens at the same time because I like that feature. But that's not how the rules are written. Rules are written, hey, in case of ties, re-roll. So, Malachi, don't bring other games into Turtles, please. We're not playing Rifts.
Or Savage Worlds.
What's that?
Or Savage Worlds.
Wow. Yeah, don't bring other games into the game, please. He would, though.
Malachi?
Fair. All right. Initiative is determined once at the beginning and retained between rounds until the combat ends, though characters may change the order by gaining or losing initiative as the result of actions. For example, characters may be knocked prone and lose the initiative, making them go last in subsequent rounds. This is a change from normal Palladium. You roll initiative once right at the beginning of the round, and that is where your initiative stays. The idea behind this is to put more emphasis on holds, grapples, throws, those things that drop your initiative.
You mean like ninjas?
Yeah, like ninjas. Funny how a lot of the aspect of this game is going to relate not to every other Palladium game out there, but to the concept of playing martial arts and ninjas.
That's just weird.
I know, in a game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that is weird, right? I mean, I still believe in Ching Ching Pow, but, you know, they want it to be more clankety-clank sword stuff, So, one more time, I'm going to say this again for the longtime Palladium fans. Note that initiative is determined once at the beginning of the round and retained between rounds until combat ends. This won't be the only tweak that you see, but I think it's an important one to put out there. And instead of poo-pooing it day one, this is stupid, I'm not doing that. Try it. Just try it. And not just for one combat session. Try it for an entire session or entire, 3 or 4 sessions. Try for some time before you finally say, nope, not into that. Or, you know what? This actually works really well for the style of game that this is trying to present. Okay. Where are we? Oh, attacker rolls to hit. Oof. You want to do this one, Brian? I was going to read it all, but you know what? I'll let you read some too.
Oh, we're doing this ADHD style. All right, the attacker rolls to hit. Next, the attacker with initiative rolls a d20 to hit with a melee strike, including disarms, tackles, etc., or range strike. If the result is a 4 or less, including bonuses, then the attack misses. A strike roll of 5 or higher succeeds unless the target defends themselves with reaction. Armor. When the opponent is protected by armor. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to stop for a second. Remember, folks, it doesn't matter if you get a 5 or higher, you hit.
Yes.
Okay, that's all you need.
Well, let's actually clarify that even more. That was a good stop, by the way. I didn't even think about this, and I should have. You could roll a 1. As long as you have a +4 bonus to your strike, you still hit.
There's no auto fail on 1 or auto success on 20?
Not that I'm aware of. If there is, then either I didn't come across it or it didn't register in my brain.
We'll find out soon. Stay tuned.
We will
folks.
find out. Also, I want to when you're done reading this section, when you're done reading this section, we're going to have some commentary.
Okay. All right. Armor. When the opponent is protected by armor, if the roll is a 5 or higher and less than the defender's armor rating, or AR, then damage is absorbed by the defender's armor. See something else. See body armor and natural armor. A roll over the defender's AR deals damage to the character's personal SDC, then hit points as normal, unless they successfully defend with a reaction.
All right. I have to clarify this, and there will be examples that clarify this better.
And a pop quiz. Please don't argue with me. We're going to read about armor 2 other times in this chapter. I also talked with Sean and confirmed this. Armor rating is effectively the target number. So before we said, and this is different than Palladium in the past. Right now, you have a target number of 5 to hit a squishy person, right, with no armor. So right now, Brian to punch me needs to roll a 5 or better. If he rolls a 5 or better, he hits me. That 5 is the target number. Armor rating in Redux Edition is the target number for the roll. 1, it used to be you had to roll 1 higher than that. 2, you're going to see the examples cover it. So when we get to the examples, you'll see the fix, but there might be a little confusion with the way this says this here. A roll over the defender's deals damage to personal SDC. It should have said equal to or overs, all right? Or overs? Wow, equal to or over. Just, I've got back and forth with Sean on this one. Trust me on this. And you'll see it in the example. I know a lot of times we read the rules and not the examples. Well, today we'll probably read the examples as well because the examples do indicate that. So if it's not clear, just remember that armor rating is now the target number that you need to roll to bypass the armor, not as the maximum that the armor helps you with, I guess to say. Somebody had a question out here. Nerdy Ogre was asking,
yeah,
does that mean that you don't re-roll initiative after everyone uses up all their actions?
Correct. Now, if you watch the Veterans Day stream when Sean was on, Sean talked about times where you can re-roll initiative and probably should re-roll initiative. I think the example he gave was you're fighting on a train. You know, cool little ninja action on the train, right? And then you got the tunnel coming up and everybody has to duck to the ground. Well, maybe roll initiative again to see who gets up fastest. So there are times when re-rolling initiative makes sense. It's just not a natural part of, okay, we're at the top of the round again, let's re-roll initiative. Your game master's got a bit more control over the flow of the action in this case. All right.
So,
you want to keep going or you want me to?
Sure.
What do you got? What do you got?
Well, I was just going to say, so just remember, folks, you just need a 5 or higher to hit. If you don't roll over the armor rating, then the damage hits the armor. Otherwise,
right. And if I have an armor rating of 12, a 12 or higher hits me on the inside, and 11 or less hits the armor. Now I could parse that out more, but that's the simple way of saying it.
Right. Just the simple way for now. All right. Step 3: Defender reacts. When an attacker rolls a successful strike, the defender can choose to parry, dodge, or use another reaction by rolling equal to or higher than the strike roll. Defenders win ties. Characters can only defend against attacks they're aware of. Ranged surprise attacks and melee sneak attacks cannot be reacted to with a parry, dodge, or other reaction.
So when I snuck attack and Brian wasn't expecting it, and I just bop, keep using the wrong arm. Well, it's because I punched my desk over here. Bop, and I try to knock Brian out. He doesn't even get a chance to parry or dodge.
Correct. But that's another reminder. Whatever the attacker rolls, so if Max only rolls a 5 to hit me on that sneak attack, okay, well, let me rephrase that because I don't get to parry, dodge, or whatever on it.
If we're going fisticuffs,
right, regular fisticuffs. If he rolls a 5 to attack, yes, he hits, but that 5 is now my target number to defend, parrying, dodging, etc. So,
and I don't know why I've seen this cause arguments in the past. When it says tie goes to the defender, it means the the defender in terms of attacker, defender as characters, not in the person who's now rolling the dice aren't the defender. I've actually seen this
The
argument.
person being hit is the defender.
Right. So if I roll a 5 to hit him and he rolls a 5 to parry or dodge or entangle, whatever, then he successfully parries, dodges, entangles, whatever.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
All right. Parrying a melee strike can be done automatically by anyone trained in any form of combat training, any kind of hand-to-hand, without using up an action. Characters without combat training use up an action every time they attempt to parry. So, as long as you have at least hand-to-hand basic, parrying is free. Dodging bullets, missiles, and energy blasts is important because ranged attacks cannot be parried.
You're not Wonder Woman.
Fine.
You're not cute enough to be Wonder Woman.
I don't know. I think I could pull off that unitard.
I don't know if anybody could top Linda Carter in the 70s. So
that's fair. Melee strikes may be parried or dodged. Dodging uses up an action. Notice it didn't say if you have hand-to-hand combat, you can dodge for free. No, dodging always uses an action. Other reactions means the character performs another maneuver to prevent being struck by the attack, using up an action. A common example would be trapping a melee attacker's weapon arm with an entangle. Reaction options are unlocked by progressing in a character's chosen combat training. So basically, we'll see when we... I don't know if we'll necessarily see it in this video, but look in the book at least at the different styles of hand-to-hand combat. It has like a whole chart for...
We may reference them, but no, that wasn't my plan to go over that today. But if we have to, we can. I'd say this version of the game is a little clearer about what you can do with no hand-to-hand skill and what you do with each. They're called combat trainings now. But I think it's a little clearer about what you can and can't do. Not that the other books didn't tell you, but I think this one is clear. No, you don't get the ability to defensively entangle until,
Right.
So. All right. Well, because I'm a cool attacker, I'm going to start reading again here. I want to roll damage. If a roll to strike is not parried, dodged, or otherwise reacted to, then the attack is successful. Yeehaw! In most cases, this means damaging the opponent. The attacker rolls for the damage inflicted and adds any damage bonuses. If you watch my character creation video, you'll see that Eddie the Elk gets +8 to his damage. So if I roll a d6 damage and come up with a 4, I would add 8 to that. That would be 12 points of damage. Not bad. Critical strikes deal double damages. Add all damage bonuses to the roll before multiplying. Dungeons and Dragons players, this is different than what you're used to. This is Palladium. In this one, you double everything, and it's awesome. Now, yes. Brian maybe try to be a poo-poo head and try to actually, he's got one more possible action available to him that he could do after I punched him in the noodle.
All right. So, defender may try to roll with impact. With blunt physical attacks, fist, foot, staff, etc., impacts with a blunt object, explosions, or falls, the defender can use up an action to attempt to roll with impact. The defender must match or better the original attack roll on a d20, 10 or higher for falls. Success on roll with impact means the victim takes half the damage dealt, and stun attacks do not deal the stun effect. Failing to roll with impact means taking full damage off the defender's SDC, then hit points as normal.
There is a damage section here that we will talk about, but yes, with a couple of exceptions, damage is done to SDC first, and then once that's down to 0, then it bleeds into hit points, which means, now there are problems.
Exactly.
All right, I'll let you finish this up because I'll take over movement.
Okay. Once the above is completed, the process is repeated for whoever comes next in the initiative, or who comes next in descending order if d20s were rolled to determine it. So long as any of the combatants have actions left, the combat continues back and forth. When all combatants have used all of their actions, it's time to start a new round of combat. So, Max might have gotten a sneaky punch off first, but I get to punch back.
All right. And I'm sure I will feel it much more than he will. You're like, what, 6'3" or something?
No, like 6'1".
6'1".
I am
6'1".
taller than you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm 5'9". We have the loving picture to prove it.
That's
For those who know, and it's hilarious.
and awesome.
It is awesome. All right, so movement. Now, hey, Palladium fans, calm down. Don't read ahead. We're going to talk about movement. Movement has been much more defined in the Redux edition of the game than what you might be used to. Again, until you've tried it at your table with a group of players you don't know. I've done a bunch of one-on-one combats. I still have not had the opportunity to do this, or when I say one-on-one, playtesting with myself. I've done multiple characters, but playtesting with myself. I have not actually sat at a table with people to do this yet to see just kind of how it flows. There are some notable changes, updates. Please don't poo-poo it until you give it the chance. So, movement. Characters may take a move action once per round of combat. One movement action. Now, you can take a basic movement action. So as an action, a character can move a certain number of yards. I'm just going to say yards the entire time. I could do meters. It doesn't matter, but I'm only going to say one. A certain number of yards, depending on the speed attribute. By the way, also, I'm not going to do the tabletop side of it. There are tabletop rules for this where you move inches, kind of like you're playing a war game and so forth. I only do Theater of the Mind, but for you folks who love your battle maps, look at that. He's integrated the rules right in there for you. It's to capture a more modern, especially people who like to do VTTs type of player. That's not this guy. So I'm probably going to skip most of that. But so you can move a certain number of yards depending on the speed attribute. Now I'm on page 86 here. I forget what page it's on. I'm going to guess 13. Oh, it's so close. And by so close, I mean so far off. Where the hell is it? Wait, was it right? Speed. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. It's speed. It's in that map. I was actually on the right page. Wow. So let's scroll down below this. There we go. This is how far you can move. The second row here. Come on, stay there. That's how far you can move based on your speed attribute. So if you have a speed of 15, where's 15? You can move 10 yards in a round with the basic action. Again, what page did I say I was on? Oh, crap.
86.
Hey, look at that. So if you're not used to this, get used to it. Because that's what it is now. Move action, climbing, crawling. Instead of traversing terrain as a basic move action, a character may crawl or climb up to half the distance normally allowed by the speed attribute. So what did it say, 10 for 15? So now it'd be 5. If a challenging or dangerous climb, the Game Master may require a climbing skill check to determine the result. Damage from falls is 1d6 from a 4-yard height, plus 1d6 for each additional 4 yards or fraction thereof. By the way, 4 yards is 1 story. 12 feet is a story. So that actually, I was like, why did he pick 4? And the only thing I can think of is that he was just thinking in stories of falling. So maybe that's even what the original was, and I just don't remember. But
no, but I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
yeah,
it's
it does.
like floors and stories, whatever word you want to use, are more or less consistent. I mean, maybe you have, a 10-foot story or a 12-foot story, but at the end of the day, it's a game. 2 feet isn't going to matter. So it's just, I think that's perfect. It makes sense. And for anyone playing the game,
I could be wrong, but my understanding is that 12 feet is a story in architecture.
Well, I
might be wrong about that.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, in my house, we have like 8-foot ceilings.
Right.
So then you figure like a foot or 2 between each one. So that's why I'm saying it could be 10 feet, it could be 12 feet. Yeah. But again, you're nitpicking at that point. In this case, if you're playing the game, consider falling, like 1d6. Like, I think that's an easy way to put it. You take 1d6 damage per floor that you fall, because especially a game like this, you're not talking like some weird thing. You're in.
Was it 56 feet or 59 feet? I need to know.
Well, no, you're in New York City or Los Angeles or whatever. You're in the sewers. What again? So you're gonna have standard buildings.
You
all
fell from the
around
30th floor. You were lucky enough to bounce off the canvas.
Yeah,
the canvas over the entryway. Yeah, we'll give you half damage from there. Now roll with impact and see if you take half damage from even that.
Right, but again, I think that floor idea is actually a really, really good way to describe it. It's just it wouldn't make sense
zero issues with it at all. It's just that 4. When you see numbers like 4, you're always like, why a 4? Couldn't you just go with 5? Isn't 5 an easier number to think? But 4 makes sense in this case. So
yeah. So anyways.
Hell, it might have been 4 in the original. I just don't remember. I don't know. All right, move action jumping. If you watch character creation video, we talked about this, but we'll talk about it again because you may not have. Instead of traversing terrain as a basic move action, a character can jump up to 2 yards from a standing position or 4 yards with a running start. That means you actually have to run. This is a jumping move action. Those with acrobatics or gymnastics can move 50% further, which would be 3, 6. Or if you have both of them, you can jump twice as far, which would be 4 and 8. If it's a challenging or dangerous jump, because you don't want to step on the hot lava that is really just your living room carpet, the game master may require basic athletics or jumping skill check to determine the result. Swimming. Instead of traversing terrain as a basic move action, a character may swim up to half the distance normally allowed by the speed attribute. If it involves a character or dangerous swim, the game master may also require a swimming skill check. You got those riptides, man. Undercurrents grabbing you. To determine the result. Full round run. Instead of traversing terrain as a basic move action, remember, with our speed of 15, basic move action was what? 10 yards, right? Okay. But now you're like, screw that. I have the speed attribute. I can go 5 times my speed. So what's that? What's 15 times 5? 64, 75? What's that? 75. So that means theoretically, I can go 75 yards in a round, not just 10. So this, so where is it? Where am I reading here? Okay.
Wait, rounds are 15 seconds, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean that's quote unquote a football field. Somebody with a speed
3/4 of one. Yeah.
Well, right. I'm rounding. A good football player is easily gonna cover that in 15 seconds.
Yeah, I would say like when I was working on an aspect of my own game that included some of the Palladium concepts, I actually learned that their speed attributes are a little low. Because if you consider that the average person would be a 10.5, so a 10 or 11, the speed is a little slower than what the average person actually does, but it's not by much. It fits within the scope and the way the math works out for the game purpose, which is what this is. This is a game. It works out in the end.
Cool.
So where are we here? So I'll just read that again. Instead of traversing terrain as a basic move action, as the first action of a round, a character may move the increased distance listed on the movement table for a full round run. As we said before, 10 for a basic action, 75 for a full round action if your speed attribute is 15. This uses up the first action in that round, and the remaining actions can only be used to parry, dodge, roll with impact, or change posture. Changing posture is dropping to the ground or standing up. No attack actions or reactions, including the defensive ones like disarm, entangle, throw, tackle, etc., can be performed when you're doing a full round run. So what does this mean for the Palladium game versus what you might be used to? This means combat is going to be a little bit more static in some regard. It's going to be a lot less, I move, I attack, I do this, because everybody has some sort of house rules to how they do movement plus attacks in their round, how many actions they cost, and so forth. This defines it out for you. This says in order to do this, well, you can run. What else? Yep. Oh, sure, you can dodge. You can parry. But you're not making an attack if you're doing this. So if you want to fight, you're going to be close to each other, or you better hope that you have a faster movement rate than somebody and have a free action available to do some sort of swipe attack on the guy as you're chasing him down across those rooftops, as you run across the rooftop, Matrix style, jump, it's not going to be so much run, attack in the back. It's going to be run, tackle him, now attack him. kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I don't know how it's going to work on the table. I have not. I mean, I do in terms of me playing, using my own brain for both sides, but I don't know how that's going to work out on the table for everyone. But remember, this game is supposed to be gritty, street level. This is not a superhero game like Heroes Unlimited, and it's not a high-powered game like Rifts. Even if your character does have a 31 strength, see tomorrow's video, it is meant to be more down to earth, a little more, I don't want to say brutal.
No,
A little more scrappy.
Max, you're missing the important word.
Uh-oh.
It's supposed to be cinematic.
Yeah, but this is cinematic on a darker noir level.
Sure, but my point is just that, it's not supposed to be gritty realistic. It's supposed to be gritty cinematic. So
yeah, no, I'll agree with that. I just don't want people to have the illusions that this doesn't work like their Heroes Unlimited or their Rifts games. That is the important aspect of this. This is a feature, not a bug. Now you might think it's a bug. Again, I challenge you to play it rules as written for a few sessions and then determine what your preference is. Sean, Kevin, Jeremy, they're all good with house rules being thrown into the game. But you really don't want to house rule something until you've tried it the right way first.
Yeah.
All right. How many more of these do I got to go through? Creepers.
I'll
finish.
No,
thanks. Change posture action, standing up or lying prone, separately from a normal move action allowed each round. As an action, a character may change from a standing posture to a prone one, or move from a prone posture to a standing one. So, for example, getting up after being thrown to the ground. Astute viewers will notice that, wait a second here. So if I change posture and I only have 2 actions per round, it means I can stand up and attack or stand up and move 10 yards. That's it. Yep.
Have you ever stood up and really
Brian,
gone more than about 10 yards?
Even you can stand up and go faster than 10 yards in 15 seconds.
Yeah, okay, fair. I don't know.
It's a game, folks. It's a game. And just like games like Stratego and Monopoly and poker all have rules. These games have rules that define the universe. If it doesn't make sense for you, you can house rule it. But please, and I'm going to say this a million times. You're going to get so bored of me saying this, but I'm going to keep doing it. Play it rules as written first. See how it works at your table. You might find that, hey, our characters are doing a lot more holds and throws and entangles than they ever did before. I have sat at countless Palladium tables, from Palladium Fantasy to Rifts, Heroes Unlimited, or my game TMNT. Robotech, of course. And I very rarely, I can't even remember the last time I heard somebody say he was going to entangle or try to hip toss somebody. It only does a D4 damage. Like, well, now guess what? It always did hurt the initiative and take an action away, but now it does that, and you have meaningful repercussion for it. He can't just get up and run away. So,
well, and I'd make another argument. You're like, yeah, you can, even, big fat Brian can, get up and run more than 10 yards.
I was
in
drinking.
15
Don't
seconds.
do that.
It is an action game. It's not just, oh, you're laying there on the ground, completely normal, fully aware of your surroundings. No, you just got hip checked. You just got tossed. You have to orient yourself. Maybe you have to flip over to a point where you can stand up. Whatever it is.
You crushed all those cardboard boxes and you got to move them out of the way.
No, exactly. So there's all sorts of ways that you can visualize this. Don't get stuck in that, oh, well, I know I can do blah, blah, blah. Okay, so imagine something. Even if the game master doesn't say you got tossed in the boxes, fine. Just imagine it yourself. Oh, it's taking a while because I got tossed in boxes. Okay. Or throw that out to the game master. Maybe you can do some 4D role playing, No, but slide that in there. Hey, did I get tossed in boxes? Sure. Sounds great. Cool. I'm going to use that to be a little sneaky, something like that. Again, play off of it. Don't just think, oh, this rule isn't realistic. Play the game.
Beat Magnet. I don't know if that's true in this version. Just saying. I mean, I don't know. I didn't look at every piece of equipment, so maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But remember, this version dumbs things down. Look at that. I got my Psy.
Careful, you're entangled.
No, my favorite way of using it is holding it like, there we go, like this, and going behind somebody's knee. A thump and a pull.
Sure.
Anyway, I've actually been starting to use them again for the first time in 30 years. All right. Anyway, with all that said, let's move on here. Where are we? So, did I read the entirety of change posture, lying on the ground, or move from posture to standing? I think I did.
Close enough.
Object action. Separate from the move action allowed each round, an action as an action, a character may draw a weapon, stow an item, pick up something, or otherwise interact with an object. Dropping items doesn't use up an action. Letting go, doing that does not use an action. But going, oh my god, I got to get my sword out, uses an action. Pulling, apparently, drawing my 45 from my hip costs an action. So. Skill act, and I just want to say this for folks because I see our numbers are bouncing around here. Actually, we got a decent amount of viewers for this being a weekday and in the morning, so appreciate everybody being here. It's awesome. I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Let's move. We are reading this book, Rules as Written, and only using this version of the game. So I 100% don't give a crap what Riff says. Every time I ask a question to a Palladium person, well, Riff's, I don't care what Riff says. I'll look at Heroes Unlimited before I'll look at Riffs. But to be fair, I don't care what Riff says. I don't care what Heroes Unlimited says, what Dead Rain says, what Beyond the Supernatural says. Do I need to read off all the games? Don't care what any of this says. I honestly, for the most part, don't even care what the original TMNT says. We're basing this on what this book is telling us, how we're going to play the game at the table from this book. So, where are we here? Skill action. A character may make a quick skill roll as an action with Game Master approval. This is often a prowl, a perception, or other fast, immediate skill use, like read sensory equipment could be another one, right? And GMs determine the time a skill takes to use depending on circumstances. All right, are we done with this? Oh my God, thank God. Oh, you always get armor rating, man. All right, you know what? You get armor rating again, but we're gonna have to stop because
that's fine.
Yeah. Because
so do you want me to stop before the example or after the example?
No, let's do the whole thing, and you'll understand why when we're done. Can you see? Okay. Hold on.
So stop after example.
There you go. That's everything.
All right. Armor rating. A target's armor rating indicates, or AR indicates, what the attacker must roll in order to do damage to it. Unless defended with a parry or dodge, any attack roll of 5 or better successfully strikes a character with no armor. Those with natural armor, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, can only be hit by rolls over their armor rating. For characters with artificial body armor, metal armor, bulletproof vests, etc., damage from attack rolls falling under the body armor's AR are absorbed by the body armor's SDC, not the defender's. Only by striking the armor's AR or above is damage dealt to the defending character's personal SDC and hit points. For example, a defender has natural armor with an AR of 8 and is wearing body armor with an AR of 11. If the attacker rolls an 11 or higher, then damage is done directly to the defender. A roll of 8, 9, or 10 would damage the body armor, but not the wearer. A roll of 5, 6, or 7 would be absorbed by the natural armor. A roll of 4 or less would totally miss.
I don't rule it that way, but the example still works for the way the rules in the game work.
I don't like that.
I don't like it because I picture body armor being worn over natural armor, so I would still take the SDC off of the body armor. But so let me explain this for the folks who might be confused. Remember what I said before about armor rating? Just remember that. Armor rating is the target number for the roll. So if somebody has we're going to separate this. We're going to make these two different characters now instead of one character. If somebody has a natural armor 8, if let's say I have natural armor 8, Brian has natural armor 11. I'm sorry.
No, I have body armor 11.
Body armor 11. I have natural armor 8, so I got a turtle shell, or I got armadillo hide or something. And he's just wearing some body armor. I've got an 8, he's got a 12.
11.
I'm so used to saying 12 because that's just such a common AR number. Yeah, you're right, 11. With my natural armor of 8, if you roll an 8 or higher, you hit me and do damage to me, to my SDC or my hit points as appropriate at that time. If you roll a 7 or less, it bounces off my turtle shell. Okay? Very simple. Body armor has one minor extra step in there that we'll get to. Since he has body armor of 11, if I roll an 11 or higher, and this is with bonuses, I could roll a 5 as long as I have a +6 bonus to that roll. If I roll an 11 or higher, I hit Brian. If I roll a 10 or less, if I roll between a 5 and a 10, I hit Brian's armor. And it takes damage. The armor takes damage, not Brian. Brian takes damage on a roll of 11 or higher. The armor takes damage on a roll between 5 and 10. If you roll a 1 through 4, as always, that's just a miss. So, I hope that that clarifies everything. Listen to my words one more time. 0 to 4 is a miss. 5 to 1 below the AR rating hits the armor and does damage to the body armor. Roll of AR or above is a hit. If it's natural armor, the only difference is basically you just have to roll above the AR or equal to or above the AR because everything else, whether you consider it a miss or a deflection or whatever, doesn't even matter at that point because there's no SDC to remove when it comes to natural AR. So this is, generally speaking, this is the way it's always been. They tweaked the number a little bit in terms of used to be you had to roll over. Now it's you roll equal to or over. It's a target number. It's more intuitive for new players. Old Palladium people aren't going to like it. Don't care. It's more intuitive for a new player that they see the 12. Arm rating of 12 means I have to roll 12 or higher to hit. It's just more intuitive when you glance. Not that the old way was hard. This is just a little more intuitive. And it's the same whether it's natural armor or body armor, all across the board. Okay.
So, yeah, but I'm still stuck on this wearing body armor on top of natural armor.
That is not an example. I would not have written the example that way. The reason being, and for game purposes, it may be correct. But for my visual, it breaks my brain because I'm picturing your body armor over your natural armor.
Right.
So why would it hurt your,
Right, if I roll under an 11, it only hurts the body armor. But if I roll under a 7, then it hurts the natural armor, which is underneath the body armor.
Well, you never hurt natural armor. You cannot hurt natural armor. Well, it says absorbed by, but damage only happens to artificial armor. Natural armor is a yes, no. It's a binary. Did you hurt the squishy nougat inside or did you not? Body armor that you wear is, did you hit the squishy nougat inside? Did you hit the body armor? Did you miss?
Okay.
So if you have body armor, I don't know what the numbers are off the top of my head. I don't care. But let's say you're wearing body armor. You got some Kevlar vests on and they've got 100 SDC. So you remember your body armor was an 11. For the purpose of our example, don't compare this to the book because I don't know off the top of my head. He's got an armor rating of 11. And I'm just going to grab dice. Whatever dice I grab, that's what damage we do, even if it doesn't make sense. I grabbed 2D. No, what is that? I grabbed a D. Oh, it's the weirdest looking D8 I've ever seen. Okay. Well, I grabbed a D8. So I do a D8 damage to him on this weird, crazy looking one. I do a D8 damage to him. Now, let me roll my attack roll. I hope this is a D20. Nope, that's a D20. That's a D30.
Well, no, Max, I think I figured it out.
No, but this isn't for you.
Okay, fine.
I rather over-explain for the folks out there watching. That's a D18. What the hell's my D20? That's a D20. Okay, so I'm just going to roll. I have no modifier to hit because we're going to make life easy on us, okay? I rolled a 13. His armor rating is 11. I rolled equal to or higher than his armor rating, so my damage bypasses his armor and hits him. So Brian takes 2 points of SDC damage.
Straight to the squishy bits.
Straight to right off his character. Now, and I'm going to re-roll this until I get the roll I want. Oh, no. Actually, I'm going to go with this one. I rolled an 11. Brian, what happens because I rolled an 11 and that equals your armor rating?
More damage to the squishy bits.
All right, so you take your squishy bits, now take 4 points of damage. You're down 6 total.
Oh, this is not going to end well.
Okay. Now I roll. Hold on, I'm going to get a roll that actually serves my purposes here. I could just lie, but I'll keep rolling. There we go. I rolled a 6. Is that greater than 5?
Yes.
Equal to or greater than 5? Let's just say this pedantically. So that means I hit you, but is it equal to or greater than 11?
No.
Okay, so this means I hit his body armor. So this time I rolled damage, and I rolled 6 points of damage, but it's not to his squishy bits, it's to his armor. And we said that his armor had 100 SDC. Well, now it's down to 94 SDC. This is how armor protects you in this game. If I roll, screw it, I'm just going to say I rolled a 3. That's just a miss. It's that simple.
Right. And so, but with the example,
right? No, I just honestly let go of the example for now. I get because I understand your hang up because I have the same hang up.
No, I think I figured it out though.
Okay.
So if your roll like body armor is 11, okay. So if I roll under an 11, but over an 8, well then yes, it's going to do damage to the armor. If I roll under the 8, then that's where the natural so the damage that theoretically would be it's still
look here's how I can explain it for you because again you have the same hang up I do. I can tell just by the way you're saying that. Here's a couple ways of explaining that. Number one, you could say you're wearing a flak vest. I shot you in the leg, so yeah, your natural armor deflected it because you rolled low. It wasn't a good shot. And I rolled low and I missed your actual body armor. So I'm not going to take the SDC off the body armor. It hit your leg, so that absorbed it. And now let's move on because you have natural armor rating. The other way you can do it, and I shouldn't be talking about house rules right now, but I'm going to do it right now, is you can house rule it because this is exactly what I would do. Great. You're still taking it off your body armor because natural armor is underneath your body armor. That's the way I play it. That's the way I've always played it, the way I'm going to play it in the future. Not how the rule is written, though. The way the rule is written is what the example says. Because the hang-up it seems like you're having, which is the same as me, unless you're frozen. Are you frozen? Oh, he was frozen. He didn't even get my example. So 1 hour and 12 minutes in. So let's do the example now with natural armor, because it's really not confusing at all. Natural armor rating was 8. We're going to use the example there, and we're going to keep the natural armor rating of 8. I rolled a 17. I got past the natural body armor, so I inflict 3 points of damage. Okay? Now, let's roll again. I got a 5. Look at that. A 5 hits. And a 5 is equal to or less than 8. So it basically bounced off because natural armor does not suffer SDC damage. It's just that simple. So you either hit or you don't. That's why I don't even pay attention when it comes to natural armor if the roll is 5 or less. I just look for the armor rating or less. I don't care if it bounces off from it. It doesn't inflict anything, so it doesn't matter. So I'm not going to confuse the situation more. Body armor is where you actually have to pay attention to the 5, the armor rating, and if you want to say the critical as well, which we're not talking about. I don't know. Did you hear my explanation, Brian?
I got half of it, but basically in my head, like
Okay.
like I'm still kind of confused because like the armor should be taking damage, but the way I'm justifying it in my head is the natural armor, even under the flak vest, causes it to, the shot or the sword or whatever to bounce off and do no damage. Fine,
Yeah, I mean, again, you
whatever.
can make some sort of cinematic reason as to why Sean's example there makes sense to you, and I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. It's just not how I'd run it at my games because I just, maybe I'm stuck too much in a reality here where, no, if you're wearing body armor over natural armor, especially if the body armor number's higher, it's just the body armor is going to take the damage. That's just what's going to happen. So, and yes, to answer
Right.
your question, Nutty Squirrel, I know I put it in chat there, but I'll say it again. Yes. Think of these things as target numbers now. I think Heathen Dog likes to call them threshold numbers, but I call them target numbers. 5 is your target number to hit an unarmored person. The armor rating, in the case of our examples here of either 8 or 11, that's your target number to hit with, to hit the squishy nougat on the inside anyway. Just see them as target numbers now. I think it's more intuitive. I like this. This is a change that I really do like. So again,
it's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons armor class. You know, that like what do you need to hit? Well, whatever the armor class is. Keep it simple. I can guarantee
Thruxus, if you're watching, that's exactly how I envisioned him. Dude, that's awesome. That's exactly how I envisioned him. Well, maybe not with the glasses, but that's still kind of funny. I like that. By the way, Thruxus posted a the character, the Eddie the Elk character on the Discord. I got to show this. I
know ninjutsu.
Yeah. How do I make this a link? Well, you know what? I'll do it some other time. It's on my Discord. There you go. For people who are on the Discord, you can already see it. I hope that's enough. I don't want to keep belaboring this point because it's not. No. You're good. Well, think about it. If you have confusion, then somebody else is going to have confusion.
Right. And Nutty Squirrel, you're not wrong in that that's the way it should have been from the beginning, but you're also like it's 40 years of hindsight. And
to be fair, having to roll above it was never hard.
Right.
It's just less intuitive for a new player.
Right.
I've made the mistake before. Like, oh man, you got that 12, or for this case here, the 11. You got that 11. All right, roll your damage. No, wait. No, that comes off the body armor, not him. He's still alive. I've done that before, so I can see why that changed. I think it's a good change. Now, somebody said on our members only stream yesterday, well, all I'm going to do then is raise the AR of everything by 1. That's fine. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I get it because you want the armor to mean something. If you already have to roll like this natural armor of 8. I like this for natural armor. I couldn't give a crap for worn body armor. Because now this means that the target number to hit me is always an 8. So that's cool. With natural body or with worn body armor that takes SDC and probably only has like 25 SDC anyway, what's it going to be good for 1 roll? And it's not even a 50% chance? Whatever, So. I have to have my audio muted, so if you hit the natural armor, does that subtract from the player's SDC? No.
Already got it.
Oh, well, haha, beat you. Because I just typed no.
I don't know. Mine said that I beat you. Whatever. I'm just.
Oh, well, you know what? You could have another example.
Fine. I'll take another example. I'm going to talk about.
No, he's not. He's going to freeze instead.
Ow.
There you go. Oh, you're unfrozen.
Okay. Actions per round. The number of actions a character can take within a 15-second round of combat. Characters without combat training have 2 actions. Characters who have combat training start out with 2 actions per round and gain extra actions with experience levels, especially those with martial arts or other advanced combat training. For example, at first level, characters start with 2 base actions. When that character reaches 4th level, they gain a bonus action per round from their expert combat training. When combined with the 2 base action, this gives them a total of 3 actions per round.
Now, Sean said something to me that really angers me. He's not wrong. But he really angered me. He's basically like, hey, because let's be fair, the original Turtles had 2 actions per round also. A lot of people don't remember that, but it did. It had 2 actions per round. Now, also to be fair, I visualized this a little bit more heroically than I think the street level. So I'm like, man, with all these action changes in here, wouldn't it be cool to actually have more action so you can do more things in a round? And he disagreed, which is fine. But he said something in there that made me want to put firecrackers between his toes. and that was when he said, well, most people take boxing anyway, so that'll give him another attack. Not if you're sitting at my table. You have to justify boxing, acrobatics, and gymnastics at my table. Maybe not gymnastics so much, because I can understand that, I know a lot of people who send their kids to gymnastics. But you really do have to just having both gymnastics and acrobatics. Yes, you have to justify it. And I don't care if you, Mr. Player out there, don't like it. Well, I'd never do that. I don't care. You also have to justify boxing, because I don't know too many IT techs who go into MMA or boxing. I know a couple, but they're also physically fit and they do things like running and they play in softball leagues and flag football leagues and things like that as well. Like they're more athletic type people in general. Your 20 intelligence, 5 physical strength, 7 physical prowess probably isn't taking boxing. And I'm going to give you a squinty eye look if you choose to do so.
Are you trying to say that my character is a giant nerd?
I don't care if I'm the outlier. People play incorrectly, and I have no problem saying that. They want to play towards the mechanics and not to actually players or characters. And that's some BS. That's called bad role playing. This is where the 4D guys are right. Don't be a bad player. Play to the theme of the character. Play to what a character like that would actually do. Now, does that mean that no weak character would ever decide to get stronger? No, it happens all the time. But you take bodybuilding. Could you take boxing? Yes. Just give me a damn good explanation for why your character with a 7 strength is taking boxing. You barely have the boxing gloves. So, and Timothy, you're right. People who naturally already have more physical attributes tend to exemplify their physical attributes. Most people, I'm not saying everybody, most people exemplify their strong attributes. They don't actually try to improve their weak attributes much because it's hard and it's frustrating. Never understood why there's 2 secondary schools in my city. There's a boxing gyms. Anybody can enroll in like dancing lessons. Yeah, but the amount of time that you have to actually spend to do boxing to actually become even an amateur boxer, that would warrant getting an extra action per round. Like I created a version of boxing that was like amateur, and it included half the bonuses that you get from boxing, but not the extra action that you could take as a secondary skill or an amateur skill. Now, there's no damn way in hell I'm giving you an extra action per round as a secondary skill. Not going to happen.
Remember, folks, Max just doesn't like fun.
No, I don't like people. I don't like people. I don't like it when people make characters based on numbers and not on actual characters. You can explain away the boxing to me, or you can even explain boxing, gymnastics, and acrobatics if it makes sense. Sure. Especially you roll up like a ninja character, yeah. But if you roll up like some sort of science nerd, I am not letting you take acrobatics, gymnastics, and boxing. Not all 3 of them. Maybe 1.
Actually, and I'll make a very simple explanation for this, everyone. It's called role playing. If you can role play your explanation to Max, he might let you get away with it.
Yes, it actually does say it's professional boxing, BioKiddo. If it is in the professional skill section, it's literally professional. In the old days, that was called. Actually, wasn't it still called? It was secondary, and whatever your skill selections were. Here, I'll show you in the freaking book. So you're wrong, sir. 56. I can just go to 56. Professional skills by category, amateur skills by category. And in the other book, these are secondary skills, which are hobbies. Yes, you can go to the gym and learn how to do a little boxing. I'm not giving you the extra attack. Well, actually, you can't because it's not over here. So, booyah, in case you can't see it on the screen, it's right there. And amateur. So, and as Umbra Operator says on Rumble, great comment. I tell players when they want boxing, athletics, acrobatics that I can't handle that much cheese. I'm lactose intolerant. So, Play characters, not numbers. And I don't have any issues telling you you're doing it wrong. I couldn't give a fuck less what you think. So, because you're going to do at your table what you want to do anyway. I'm just going to mock you for it. So, back to actions here. And boop. There we go. So you get 2 per round, 3 if you have boxing, and more if once your skills go up. So that kind of puts somebody that has hand-to-hand none versus somebody that has hand-to-hand, even expert, or what's it called, elite, whatever it's called now, on kind of the same power level at first level. Well, that quickly changes, okay? The one thing that the person that has hand-to-hand expert will have is a bonus to roll. I think they all get a bonus to roll with Punchfall Impact at level 1. So, anywho, I got sick of getting beat up, so I went to the gym and made friends. One was a boxer, one was acrobat, and one, yeah, I don't believe that. Yeah, I wouldn't believe that at all. So if you said one was a boxer, I'd be like, okay. If you say one was an acrobat, I'd say, okay. You say one was a boxer, one was a, no. Sorry. The percentage chance of, okay, sure, I'll let you do that. Roll me an odd 1. Actually, you pick the number. Pick any number on percentile dice. If you roll that number, you can do it.
Well, and let's be honest, at most gyms, you're not going to find that all in one place.
Right. My Planet Fitness has it. I do Zumba or whatever they do nowadays.
Right. Taibo.
Well, right, BioKiddo. And with that, that's why I say you can have half the bonuses. Again, this is a personal house rule that I made for a very particular game. This isn't how I normally do it, but I said you can have half the bonuses of boxing, but you're not getting the actual extra attack. You're not trained that well. You just do it as a hobby. You go once a week, if that, whatever, because you have a real full-time job. There are different ways that you can house rule it. But like I said, the only reason that I was saying, because I push back against that in my games. If you're a Ninja Turtle, you're probably going to have boxing and acrobatics and so forth. Why? I think that kind of implied with the whole ninja thing. When I made that Ninja Elk, I didn't give him boxing, did I? No, I couldn't give him boxing if I remember correctly, or could I? Anyway, I didn't take boxing. I could have. But, when the team characters come out tomorrow, maybe one of them has boxing. I don't know. Actually, I do know. But if it relates to the character, I have no problem with it. It's when everybody takes it. You got to take it for the extra attack. The second I hear those words, I'm like, out. Nope. Now I'm not even going to let you have it, even if you come up with a good reason. So. Besides, wrestling's better now anyway. With the new action system, wrestling's better. You want to read attack action? You want me to?
I can take attack action.
Okay.
An attack action is when the active character, determined by initiative, uses their action to roll a d20 to strike an opponent with an unarmed melee attack, an armed melee attack, or a ranged attack. If successful, the target takes damage. The standard attack.
Did he seriously freeze? Well, I will finish reading that for him. The standard attack actions known by all characters, even those without a combat training, also include Disarm and Tackle. Notice it says attack action, not defensive action. That's going to be important. You have to understand the distinction between the two, a reaction or an attack action. In this case, anybody can try to disarm. Somebody's swinging at you with a club, you can try to grab his hand and pull it out of him or something like that. If somebody's trying to run away, I think we all might not be good at it. You're not NFL players, but everybody can try to tackle. You can try to tackle somebody. So there's no reason that even somebody without combat training shouldn't have that. So that's why they're in there, right? So new attack actions can be gained from progressing in combat training, including leap attack, hold, and throw. And it's interesting that he pointed those 3 out because those, I think, are very prevalent in the way the system works now. So... all right, I'm going to continue on here, see if he comes back. I think at some point he might get frustrated, but he's welcome back when he wants to come back or when he can come back. A blinded character is at a penalty of -10 to strike, parry, dodge, and initiative. I don't remember if the initiative was in the original game, but it is here now. So if you can't see, you're in that darkened room and you don't have night vision or any way of seeing, no torches or whatever, and you're trying to fight somebody, well, you're going to be at -10 to strike and to parry. So if this dude can see in the dark, you're screwed. Right? This is where night vision really comes into its own. Night vision is a really short range in this game. It's 20 yards, if I remember correctly. But this is where it really kicks in. So if it's really dark out and you can barely even see shadows, if any at all, you can kind of get a feel. Maybe you can hear a breath or a footfall, or you just make out the shadow as you know, a little bit of starlight or something just reflects just right. You know, but you're at -10 because of that. So to all of those. Animal abilities like Electrosense and Sonar will allow some characters to ignore these penalties in combat and other role-playing circumstances according to the Game Master's judgment for different situations. So bats can just keep popping out there. Boop, boop. Little radar, sonar action going on there. And be like, I know where you are. Now, would that bat necessarily know if you're punching or not? I don't know. Do you really want to get that pedantic in your game? That's up to you. I may not. Depends on my mood for that day. No, whatever I do, I solidify number one. And number two, whatever the characters can do, the NPCs can do. Whatever the NPCs can do, character can do. So if a character can use sonar, maybe I just give them a -4. Or maybe I say, you know what? I'm not going to give you a penalty to strike, but you can't make a called shot. Because you know the general location of the person, and you're probably sure that his face is up higher. But, yeah, called shot, nah, I'm going to say no to that. Or just put a penalty on it or something like that. Various different things that you can do. But a blinded character, one who can't see, is at -10 to strike. But man, when you do hit, I feel like a god. Even if you do 1 point of damage, like, ha! I hit you. What you can do about that? All right. Effectively, you need a 15 or higher just to hit. And remember, that's a -10 to the roll. So if he's got body armor on, let's say that body armor is that 11 that we were talking about before, that means you need a 21 or better to get past the armor. Good luck. Is that possible? If you have bonuses to your roll. If no, nope, you're going to be punching through that armor for a while. Talking about body armor, here's the third time we get to see about armor. This is worn protective armor. Body armor has its own AR and SDC. Any attack that rolls between 5 and the AR of the body armor damages the armor, but not the wearer. That is correct. If you roll a 5, and again, if the armor rating is 11, if you roll between a 5 and 11, that damages the armor and not the wearer. When the SDC of body armor is reduced to 0, it is no longer effective. That means you're basically just wearing rags at that point. Bonus to strike ranged. Notice it's broken down into ranged and melee. This is a number added to the character's roll to strike an opponent at range. Example, if a level 4 character has weapon proficiency rifle, when making a ranged attack with a rifle and using aimed shot, you would roll with a +4 bonus to strike. +3 for range. Now, we haven't got there yet, but if you have a weapon proficiency in a firearm, you get a +3 for an aimed shot. Now, aimed shot in Palladium doesn't mean I'm aiming for his eyeball. It just means you're looking down the sight, getting a good aim, and pulling the trigger. All right? It's basically a normal shot. An aimed shot is a normal shot in Palladium. It's not a called shot. That's a different thing. So if you're making an aimed shot, you get a +3 for having the weapon proficiency and +1 more because of your level. All right? Now, Palladium fans who are watching right now, some of you already know what I'm going to ask and what the answer is because we talked about it, but in a different way. Do you get your physical prowess bonus when you make a range shot? So let's say you have a physical prowess of 18. I think that's +3 or 4? 2, 3. Yeah, I think it's 4. Do you get to add that additional +4 into the shot? So we will, I'll wait for some comments to come in. And so far, we got comments coming in. Good. Uh-oh, did Brian give up? Or did he completely have to redo his entire internet? Got 2 answers so far. Let's see if anybody else answers. Do you get your physical prowess bonus when firing a weapon? I want to see a couple more people chime in here. I think some people might be looking it up. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. We've got enough people watching where we can get some more answers to this one. Nope. Yep, everybody's verifying. Okay. All right. I'll wait for one more, and then I'll verify what you said. Yeah, people are watching this later in video. Sorry, this is live stream, so I'm going to be doing live streamy things. All right, it looks like nobody else is going to answer. Well, could you answer a question for me about hand-to-hand ninjutsu? It has been clarified by Okido, and if you watch my character creation video, you'll actually see that on there. I rolled up a ninja of all things. So, and yes, that entire character was randomly rolled. 100% randomly rolled. The only thing that I did like on the side that you didn't see on the video is I kept a bunch of notes on my other monitor in case I screwed something up completely. Like I actually did screw one thing up. But that was completely randomly rolled on the spot there. So, and I ended up rolling an elk ninja. That's somebody put on my Discord. That was awesome. So, hate to tell you all this, but you're all wrong. Yes, you do add in your physical prowess bonus. Now, you're going to be, but that's not what Riff says. Don't care what Riff says. We are reading TMNT Redux. Redux is, I guess, well, no, it's not, guess changed. It literally has. I've had people send me screenshots of this. I understand what Riff says on page whatever the hell it is. Redux Edition does something to clarify things, and it does a really good job of this. If it says adds +4 to hit or to strike, that's universal. That means to everything. If it says +4 to strike in melee combat, that means only in melee combat. If it says +4 to strike in ranged combat, then it's only in ranged combat. For physical prowess bonuses, now add to your attacks for ranged combat as well. Yes, I know you guys. Again, you guys are right for current Palladium, but for the Redux edition, that is a change. They give you the skills. It's prowl, acrobatics, and one other that I don't climbing, and it just says you get prowl, acrobatics, and climbing, 3 extra skills, and something else, or I think and 3 weapon proficiencies. So yeah, a lot of people made that mistake, Timothy. To be fair, I played that way. I think up until I was playing with Heathen Dog and Garthon and all of them in the 90s, and they're like, "No, you don't." I'm like, what do you mean you don't? It's my dexterity. Why would my ability to hold my weapon not apply to the firearm? That's silly. But the rules were no. And I think the rationale for that is firearms are firearms. You just aim, shoot, pull the trigger, and let's move on. That's my guess. I don't know, but originally it was fencing. Okay, it's not fencing now. It's climbing now. Is the fencing skill in this game? Yeah, I think the fencing skill is in this game as a professional. So, I don't remember it being fencing. That is weird. Is it fencing? Oh, where are the stupid animal types? I probably shouldn't be doing this. I should just be focusing on my live stream right now. But I'm interested. 3 military. Okay, so ninja characters learn 3 military espionage, 10 secondary skills, hand-to-hand ninjutsu. In addition, characters' choice of 3 ancient weapon proficiencies. Actually, it doesn't say anything in here about that. Adopted by a mentor, teaches and guides the character in some form of special training. This is the old version, not the new version, by the way, not Redux. This is often ninjutsu. But all areas of special training can be selected. These characters will learn to be philosophical about all creatures. Their attitude could be summed up as some people are good, some are bad. Everyone deserves a chance to earn your trust. Ninja characters learn 3 military espionage skills, 10 secondary skills, and hand-to-hand ninjutsu. In addition, the character has a choice of 3 ancient or ninja weapon proficiencies. Okay, so now we go look at ninja. I bet you it says it under the ninja thing. He's probably already typed that in the chat. So let's go look up at the ninja thing. What does it say about hand-to-hand ninja? Where the hell is it in this book? I'm getting so used to the new book, I can't remember where things are in the old book now. It's here. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Ah, where is it? I could just look at there it is right there. Ninjutsu, okay. Ninjas are required to take acrobatics, climbing, and prowl. And at least one form of fencing using a ninja weapon. So there you go. So it did include fencing as well. Okay. Booyah. There you go, sir. You were right. I just didn't remember that. But, yep. He said it. This kind of poo-poos a whole megaversal system. I think that they are... Okay, wow, TMNT seems to vary a bit from other... So remember, one of the things that they were talking about is that they're trying to streamline things. I don't know if Rifts is going to change. I think Rifts might be too popular. But this is their concept going forward. So it wouldn't surprise me if all of the games picked up a lot of this. I don't know about all of it. Like, I could see Beyond the Supernatural going to 2 attacks per melee. Maybe Nightbane in a normal form, but not in your Morphous form. I forget what it's called in the game for your normal self. But like the higher powered games like Rifts and Heroes Unlimited, probably not so many of the changes. But yeah, these changes are intentional. Now, somebody asked me yesterday in the members only stream, like, how many of these are going to go and be propagated across the Palladium Megaverse? I don't know. I don't know. I remember, I don't work for Palladium. I do get an opportunity to talk to Kevin and Sean and Jeremy, but I don't work for Palladium, and they don't tell me everything. I'd like to think I'm good at not spilling the beans on what they tell me, but they have some trade secrets they want to keep, and that's how you do business. So I don't know. But look at this as the proto version of what's to come from Palladium. Now, proto would mean that it may or may not be kept. Please don't do this on my accord, ever. And I'm not suggesting that people, oh my God, throw their, get their pitchforks and torches and go after Palladium. But if you really do, if you have played it and you have experience with this and you're like, this does not work, well, you can house rule it. Palladium is very pro house ruling. This is a framework, not a law book. That's number one. Number two, if you really think that, oh my God, this is breaking everything from Palladium for now and into the future, let them know. Go to the contact page on the Palladium website and let them know. But please don't do it simply because I'm reading it here and you don't like the sound of it. Play it. Please play it first. So, this goes back to my wish that Palladium would release a single core rulebook for their games to clean up 40 years of patchwork. Yeah, well, that's part of what they're doing here. So, I'm sure it was hard for Sean, that balance between I've got to cater to the new people. Well, I'm sorry, no, I said that wrong. I got to cater to to us grognards like me and you, and I need to make it accessible for the new people. I'm sure that wasn't an easy task, okay? So, yeah, for the proto version, where they picked a very easy game to update because it isn't full of bloat like, say, Rifts and Heroes Unlimited has become over the years. Actually, I like Heroes Unlimited. I'm not a superhero guy, but just I think it's probably my favorite game. But you said Chaos Earth yesterday. That's my favorite setting. Favorite game is probably Heroes Unlimited, with Aliens Unlimited tacked onto it. I think that this was a good starting point for them, and with feedback and with playtesting, more playtest. We'll say public playtesting instead of a few people playtesting it, thousands of people playtesting it. They'll get some feedback and they might say, too bad, so sad, this is what we're doing. Or they might say, house rule it. Or they might say, you know what, that's a good idea. We'll think about that going in the future. And Umbra Operator over on Rumble says, this is what I wanted. Yes, I want cheap tech manuals I can beat on with clear rules and clear formatting. Well, Okay. I agree. I agree. I'm not going to say the part that I want to say here, but yes, that was the intent. And I think for like the 95 to 98% solution, they did that. Oh, there we go. Booyah. Did you call your ISP and say, what the hell?
Okay, first off, Cox Internet no longer has a phone number. You have
Well, they know.
You have to use their app, and just
wow.
like, anyways, but for some reason it detected enough problems that they scheduled an appointment. So hopefully they're here tomorrow morning, because that's the thing. I've lived here for 12 years.
Mhm.
Have had next to no issues with the internet. Coming home from COVID, next to no issues with the internet. The last 2 weeks have been a disaster. I don't know what's going on. So, anyways, let's get back to this.
Well, actually, I want to read this comment here because this is a comment. This is a very common sentiment. Okay. It says Palladium has that problem. Every other company has streamlined their games, but Palladium largely has not. I love Palladium books, but it's hard to get a group because the rules are so clunky and archaic. I challenge you to tell me where they're archaic and not just make it preference. I have asked this question through Discord. I've asked this question on the YouTube comments. I've asked this question in so many venues, and I can never get anybody to answer this without it just being preference. A lot of times it ties down to, well, rolling percentile dice here and rolling D20 there. That's, first of all, that I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that's what BioKiddo is saying at all, but that's a big one that comes up. If you think that's clunky, get the fuck out of the hobby.
Yeah.
Like, if I have to roll anything more than 1D20, I won't play the game. Get the fuck out of the hobby. Give me all the dice, every die. But
right.
There are,
that's the thing. They make dice sets. They make percentile dice. They keep selling all of this stuff. It's not like this is new. It's not weird. It's not some crazy extrapolation. This is what the gaming has been doing for 50 years.
All right, you're probably going to infiltrate a bad guy's base. They have guards actively looking for you. How do we adjudicate? Easy, roll your prowl skill. Now, would I add a modifier on that? No, because I assume guards are always actively looking. If you make your prowl, then you get by. That's it. You don't have to roll it 30 times. Don't have to roll one. Now, let's say they're actively looking for you and they're wearing night vision goggles in a dimly lit area. Roll your prowl skill with, thermographic goggles. There we go. Roll your prowl skill with a negative 25%. Where'd I come with that number? Because I'm the game master, that's why. Palladium is a framework. One of the things that people make, again, not saying BioKiddo is making, that's a good example that he put down there. I'm not saying this to him. I'm saying this to everybody. It's a framework. So you look at it and say, you know what? I think that you deserve some penalties for that. What's the exact number? Who the fuck cares? Even Kevin doesn't use his own numbers. So just throwing percentage in there. You're making a control roll. I like to use this example. You're in a wild chase with somebody in cars, and you're trying to shoot out the back window and so forth. Well, you're shooting wild. Well, actually, I'm aiming. Well, your car's bouncing around too much. I'm making the ruling that you're shooting wild. All right, you're going 115 on a dirt road. I want you to make a control roll. Your driving skill with a minus 15%. But it says in the book 156 miles per hour. Don't care. It's a dirt road, and this is what I'm ruling at this point. It's slippery. Plus, maybe he tried to pit you at the same time. Obviously I described that beforehand, but you get what I'm saying. As long as you don't have to look in the book. If any player ever would, no, it says right here, control roll when driving this speed. Fuck off. Game masters, have some balls. Make the ruling.
Even you lady game masters.
Whatever you rule for the players also holds true for the NPCs. Now, maybe the NPCs have, spiked wheels and they grip the dirt road better. I don't know. Well, you might want to lower their speed a little bit and maybe give them 10% on the control. I don't know. But I look at the rules, and Kevin actually likes this word, by the way. He's picked it up, and I love it that he's picked up this word. He looks at Palladium as a framework. He's built the frame of the house for you. It's your job to determine if you want vinyl siding, brick siding, wood, whatever, how you want to put it all together. Do you want a bay window or a flat window? Do you want a double pane window? That's all on you. That's up to the game master. It is not a lot. This is not Pathfinder. for the love of God, stop playing this game like it's Pathfinder and you have to look up every rule. And this is to players, not to game. Well, actually, to game masters to some degree. Don't let your players do this. You're the game master. You adjudicate. No player gets to argue with you unless, wait a second, I'm literally driving on a flat road and you're giving me a minus 30%. There's no oil slick here. Oh, yeah, sorry, I meant plus 30%. You know, something like that. I get it. But it's a framework. This is why I'm kind of glad that Sean and them as Umbra Operator has been saying over on the Rumble side has kind of, he's done two things. He simplified the rules in terms of this is what they mean and left the door open for a lot of people to make interpretations. Because Palladium loves you house ruling the game. As Kevin says, role-playing games are personal. My game, like, I already had a bunch of you guys spun up over the fact that I don't allow people just to take boxing, acrobatics, and gymnastics. Some of you guys are like, yes, you can. Great. Hey, your table, do it. What you don't know, and I'm not going to dive into this, I have a completely different combat system for Palladium. It's based on this, but because I don't like the way any role-playing game really, it's not Palladium, handles cover and concealment. So I have a complete table that I use for things like indirect fire, direct fire, full cover, partial cover, no cover. That completely reformats the game. Yeah. So, and Kevin and Sean don't care. They know I'm still using the Turtles book to run the game, generally speaking. So run it how you want. Palladium is a framework. If you need a law book, you were looking at Pathfinder, and I despise Pathfinder. I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, you know, what I'm doing here feels a lot, I was talking about something. It's like, what I'm doing here feels a lot like Pathfinder. And he's like, ooh. I'm like, right, that is the right response. Because I despise Pathfinder. I despise 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons. I would rather play 5th edition than 3rd edition. So those games aren't good to me, but you might love them. Then get the law book. Treat it like a law book. So, all right. And by the way, that was not a rant to BioKiddo at all. I keep hearing this stuff come up, but every time I point out, great, tell me where it's clunky, tell me where it's antiquated, I get some, and his example is probably one of the best ones I've seen from somebody. How do you adjudicate this? That's a good example. Usually people come up with things like, firearms don't work that way. Firearms work in a cinematic manner, not in a realistic manner. I'm sure Beat Magnet here, who's a competition shooter, hates the firearms rules, and I can understand why he would. Right? What somebody said on one of my questions, like, well, you tell me Palladium doesn't know anything about firearms without telling me they don't know anything about firearms, and it was over how the firearms rules worked. But if you compare them to movies like, I don't know, John Wick or I was thinking of a Clint Eastwood, Hamburger Hill or some crap like that, they start to make a little more sense. Not perfect. It's a game system. It's a framework. It's a framework. It's a framework. Can I beat that dead horse anymore? Beyond the Supernatural perception versus prowl rule example. I don't like that. Umbra Operator, I don't like perception versus prowl. In fact, I don't even like perception in this game. I know why Sean put it there. It's been clamored for. It's been asked for. So many people use it. I don't like perception as a rule in pretty much any game. And you can, if you know it, you can refer to Free League. I like the way Free League handles, by Free League, I mean the Year Zero engine games of Forbidden Lands, Mutant Year Zero, Coriolis, Alien, whatever, Vaesen, the list goes on of how it handles perception. I think that's the right way to do it. You shouldn't be perception versus prowl, because to me, that screws over the player. Not only do you have to make this low roll, but now I get to resist it. Nah, man. Let the players have that heroic moment of, look, I made my prowl roll. Hey, what happens when you make the prowl roll, but the guy behind you doesn't make it? Right? It's a Han Solo stepping on the stick thing going on there. So, no, I find that to be double punishment. Now, maybe for players, I could give them a... But you know what? NPCs should have the same capabilities as players. So, how about prowl versus detect ambush or detect concealment? So detect ambush, I wouldn't have a prowl roll necessarily. Actually, no. I'm sorry. Yes, I would. I would use a concealment or prowl roll. What is? There's another one in there. Is it just concealment? It's under espionage military. I think it's concealment. I would have concealment roll versus detect concealment. Prowl maybe versus, so that's detect concealment. Detect ambush, detect concealment are the exceptions to the perception roll. Absolutely, I would give those to you in the right environment because that's what they're made for. You had to take a skill slot up to use those. So I would give you a roll in that case. So if I were to be like, hey, of course, I'd have the player have to say, you know what, we're in this position here. I want to make sure that nobody's, sneaking up behind us. And maybe I already rolled a prowl. A lot of times I roll that stuff before the game session starts and just jot down the numbers so they don't see me rolling dice. Or I continually roll dice so they don't know what's a real roll and what's not. I have methods of doing that so they're not just like, oh, I'm looking, I'm doing this. But if you say that you're going to roll for detect ambush, yeah, absolutely, I'd give you that roll for that purpose. But it's a game master call. So, and Beat Magnet, you're correct. I wouldn't tell them how many people are there, but I would say you've got a gut feeling. I think to make the skill not useful. That's a bad way of looking at it. Because if I remember correctly, that's only a professional skill. I don't even think that can be taken as an amateur skill. I might be wrong about that. I would want to give the fact, I wouldn't say like there's 7 people there. I'd be like, you heard the click of a stick, or you heard the silent racking of an AR-15. Something like that. I could see myself saying something like that. Doesn't say that there's 15 people there. And it could have been a squirrel. I've done this in my After the Bomb games, and players get so mad at me for this. And I understand. You heard the snapping of twigs and the brushing of leaves. I'm my Mark 19. Boom, or my M203. Boom, boom. Well, you got deer guts all over you. I'm over exaggerating, but you get the idea. Like, just because you heard something move doesn't mean you know exactly what's there. But it's not a physics simulator; it's an RPG, right? Yeah, I agree with that, Umbra operator. And what did Beat Magnet also say? It's only clunky if you haven't sufficiently read the rule book. Some players and GMs just cannot be bothered to read the material. I would argue this in one regard. I want to agree with your sentiment, but I'll put one caveat to that. Sometimes clarifications are in a different rule book that you might not have. So, but yeah. Okay, so in the example, the guards make their skill. So detect ambush, and you make your prowl roll. Now what? Well, if they get their detect ambush, they know something's there, and they might halt Chung-Ji you. Don't know how are the guards supposed to react? It all depends. They know something or someone is there, because if you're sneaking in that manner, do they know how many of you are there? Don't know. Well, I have to let that play out in my head based on the scenario. I have to adjudicate that as the game master.
And going back to one of your examples earlier, like prowl, I like that idea that it is assumed that people are looking for you if you are prowling. And so,
you can have lazy guards. I've done it before. It's like, you know what? The guards are going to get a negative 10% because they're just kind of like smoking a cigarette, watching the sports ball game.
Right. Or you get a bonus percentage because, like I'm sorry I missed if you said anything about opposed rolls, but
no, I don't generally do opposed rolls unless they have the skills. So this is why I don't think Palladium needs a perception skill, because I think it punishes the player.
Yeah, and especially with, a lot of skills aren't necessary. You're not looking at 80, 90%, mastery for a lot of skills anyways.
Right.
So, so they're already hard enough to do.
No, I agree with that completely. Somebody said, I think during the character creation video, that, oh my God, that perception, because there's a base perception skill in Palladium now. Oh my God, that's too high. It should only be 20%. I don't disagree with them. I also said in that comment that I'm going to be hand waving that rule out of the game. Like, I won't be using it. But I'm covering the game rules as written right now. Mm-hmm. And your mileage may vary. You may love it. Think it's, oh my God, Palladium's been missing this for its entire lifetime. Then freaking use it. It's there for you now. And it gives you some clear rules on it. I don't like the concept. So I'm not going to use it. I personally think that that is a trend from Pathfinder and Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition where people walk into rooms, instead of saying, hey, I'm going to look under the carpet, they're like, what do I see? I'm rolling my perception and spot checks. What do I see? And bad game masters who let people do that nonsense. So I think it's a culmination of that. There are times to roll perception. There are times like, I don't know if you would notice that, or if you would notice enough information about that. So why don't you roll? And that's why things like advanced smell, advanced taste, advanced sight, advanced hearing, night vision all come into play. I absolutely can see times when, you know what, I think I will roll. But typically speaking, I'm the type of person that says that if you look in an area, you find what's there. Now, if it's concealment or ambush, did he make his concealment roll? Did he make his prowl roll? Then he wins. But if you have something that specifically counters that, like detect concealment, detect ambush, then it is a roll, an opposed roll. That's my take. So I'd give the guards a roll. Their competence would affect what the player has to roll under. I guess it depends. Like, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I said. Now, this is just my take. You guys might all disagree with me. Fine. I just think that punishes the player. I've got, the player already has a 55% chance to prowl. He gets at 53, so he just barely made it. Like, yeah. And then you're like, well, hold on. I get a 40% chance again to still see you. Yeah, it's under 50, but still. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. But I could also see situations where actually, in this case, that does make sense. That's why you can't have a rule for everything. And sometimes we're going to love these rules that are presented, and sometimes we're going to hate them. And as we can see from even chat, some people love them, some people hate them. But do they do what they're supposed to do? Brian, are you frozen again? Brian's frozen again. Poor Brian. We miss you, Brian. Oh, Malachi, you are so spot on right there. Yes, but I think we've all seen those D&D games. And there he's back. Welcome back yet again. All right, well, let's not belabor that poor mutilated horse any longer. But I am interested, for people who watch this later, I am interested. Put in the comments, how would you roll that? How would you handle that? Do you think there should be a perception stat? Why not? Like, I think BioKiddo is for probably the first time ever, I'm getting reasonable responses to him, or reasonable responses in terms of like what makes it clunky. I don't think that makes it clunky. I just think that that's a game master call. I don't need a rule book to tell me if I'm allowed to make a call somewhere. I'm the game master. I do like the fact that the rule book gives me guidelines on when's a good idea to make the call or what the modifiers could be, but I'm still the game master. I'm going to make the modifiers. So.
Yep.
All right. So this all stemmed from, Brian, from the fact that, let me ask you this question. I don't know how versed with Palladium you are. And if you
Not
saw
as much as I should be.
Okay. So in normal circuit, if you already know the answer, just tell me you know the answer. But do you normally get your physical prowess bonus when you are making an attack or a ranged attack?
Ranged attack? I do not believe so.
Okay. That is the current Palladium way. You do now.
Okay.
Maxwell, can you please read the comments you're responding to? I'm listening to this while work. Can't always read the Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Yes, I can do that. I thought I read them when I put them on the screen. That's a good point, because sometimes I kind of just see generalizations of what's going on in chat, and I'll just kind of respond to them all at one time. But that's fair, Nerdy Ogre. I can do that.
Yeah.
And if not, Brian will kick me in the ding for it. Let me get through Critical Strike, and then I'll have you pick up again if you're not frozen.
Who knows? Maybe I'll freeze in between.
This is number added. So bonus to strike now for melee. This is the number added to the character's roll to strike an opponent in melee. If a level 4 character has a physical prowess of 22, man, I wish he would have put that in the freaking ranged attack. Because then it would have shown it right there. Booyah, yeah, you do get it. Oh, Sean, I missed it too. Now that I'm reading it out loud, this should have been put up here in bonus to strike as well, for ranged as well. If a level 4 character has a physical prowess of 22 plus 4 melee strike, weapon proficiency staff plus 2 to strike, and elite combat training another plus 2 to strike. By the way, you're like, why is it plus 2? Okay, let me explain. Level 4, you get plus 1 at level 1, you get a plus another 1 at level 2. Or sorry, level 4, jeepers. So that's a total of plus 2. So plus 4 to strike, plus 6 to strike, plus 8 to strike because of his elite combat training. So he'd make a melee attack with the bow staff, would roll plus 8 to strike. He's only level 4. Do you notice why that whole thing we were saying before about bonuses count? And at some point, you're just pretty much going to hit unless somebody dodges or parries.
Real quick, I do have to point out the math is correct.
Yes, the math is correct. Oh god! If you don't know what that's related to, we're reading a MechWarrior First Edition, and it was so funny. They had the math in the paragraph and still got it wrong. It's like all
Multiple
the modifiers. You did the
times.
modifiers right. You just didn't add them together right.
No, or did like listed all the modifiers and then didn't put them all in the math equation. Oh my gosh, so many disasters.
Polyrobotics is trying to anger me right now, or he just started watching. If you just started watching Polyrobotics, I explained that, yes, physical prowess now does add to ranged attacks. If you are doing that to anger me and saying that's how you're going to do it in your game, well, that's fine. Do it that way in your game. You'll have to rewind, though, probably about 15 minutes or so. I don't know how long. We ranted a while. But physical prowess adds to everything. So let me make it quick because I've already started bloviating. If the modifier says plus to strike, it goes to everything. If it says plus to melee attack, it only goes to melee attack. If it says plus to ranged attack, it only goes to ranged attack. If it says plus to staff, then it only goes to staff. The game is very clear about what it means, and I confirmed this with Sean.
I actually do like I do like that. Okay, yes, there is a clarification. You know, if it says plus to strike,
yep,
you don't have to try and figure out what it is. It's just plus to strike. You know, because also, I mean, like physical prowess is your quote unquote dexterity, which is typically the bonus associated with ranged attacks anyway. So it's also not unreasonable to assume that.
Yeah, I don't know what the rationale was as to why it wasn't added to. In fact, there's a big blurb in Rifts that has the capital bold letters not added to for ranged attack. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just one of those things that, look, guns are already, got range and power and so forth anyway. We don't need to add a ton more bonuses on them. Or if it's just the idea of like anybody can just take a gun and start pointing and shooting, you're probably going to hit anyway because you can't dodge them. I don't know what the rationale was for that. I don't have a huge problem either way. I just like a little bit of simplicity. So for me, I'm okay with adding it. I know it's a change for Palladium fans, but it just kind of makes sense. Like my ability to hold that firearm. One could argue, what about strength? A lot of women can't fire as well, especially with, heavier pistols because they can't hold them as long. That's true, but let's not get too crazy here. Otherwise, we're going to be Dungeons & Dragons First Edition and start having different stats for women and for men. I don't think Palladium would ever go that route. Anyway, as we can see, there'd be plus 8 to strike for melee weapons. Critical strike. This is an attack that does double damage to an opponent. Rolling a natural 20 to an attack is an automatic critical strike. Combat training can decrease this threshold by allowing critical strikes on natural rolls of 19 or even lower. And it will say that at some level, it'll be like critical strike on 18 through 20. And then you'll know that anytime you roll an 18 through 20, it's a critical strike. Natural rolls can only be successfully parried, dodged, or reacted by the defender who also rolls a natural 20 or equivalent. This only counts for criticals. Only counts for criticals. I'm going to say it one more time. Only counts for criticals. So if Brian is attacking me and he's got the ability to do a critical strike on me with an 18 or higher, if he rolls a natural 18, that means it shows an 18, 19, or 20 on the D6. This isn't a modified where it shows a 6, but he's got so many modifiers up there that it gets up to 20. No, if he rolls a natural 18 on that die, he gets a critical hit. The only way for me to dodge parry that thing is if I also roll a natural 18 and beat his bonuses. So, also remember that all of your bonuses are doubled. So if you do 1d6 plus 2 damage, you're doing 2d6 plus 4 damage. And I don't care if you roll 2 dice or if you just roll the 1 die and multiply it by 2. That's a table ruling. That's a question I get a lot. So it doesn't matter. Do it how you want. I do dice because I love dice. I think dice are part of games. So, and you know what? When you get that leap attack critical ×3 multiplier and all that stuff, just picking up all those dice. Well, okay, picking up a handful of dice and rolling them is fun to me. All right, I'm going to read 2 more here. And then I'm going to pass over to Brian as I throw my headsets against the wall. No, critical strike or stun with a melee sneak attack. This is something that you'll find in a combat, like combat expert or combat martial arts or something. So not everybody gets this. But combat trained characters with advanced levels of experience have the option to automatically either critical strike or stun the opponent with a melee sneak attack. They do not need a natural 20 to do so, only a successful roll to strike. But you have to be sneak attacking. See also sneak attack, critical strike, and stun for the various effects of what those do. So if you are sneaky, you got that prowl going on, and Brian's like, derp, 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 looking up this way, and you decide to punch and give him a little kidney shot there, you are going to do double damage.
Seems accurate.
Combat training. This refers to a character's knowledge and proficiency in deadly close combat situations. A character can only have 1 combat training, which unlocks increasing bonuses and combat options according to the level. Also called combat style, or for us old Palladium people, hand-to-hand combat skill. He is changing the term here, so I'm glad he did put that in here. This is your hand-to-hand basic, hand-to-hand expert, hand-to-hand martial arts, hand-to-hand ninjutsu, hand-to-hand feral in this game now, and hand-to-hand assassin. And if you're like, what about commando? This isn't Rift, shut up. I'm going to stop yapping for a moment, and since Brian has actually determined that his internet can be stable for more than 36 seconds, he can read damage bonuses.
Characters with great physical strength or advanced combat training have bonus damage added to their melee attacks, as well as damage from hurled items. These damage bonuses are generally for melee attacks only and do not apply to bows or the use of modern weapons like explosives or guns. Okay. Damage. The amount of physical. Sorry, I just kind of brain farted for a second because it's like.
Well, the main takeaway of that is if you're using something that actually relies on your strength to do damage, you get your physical strength bonus to it. If you're using a gun, I don't care. I mean, your arm does not add more. When I push the gun forward when I fire. That gives it extra velocity. No, there's no methodology of adding your strength to that.
Right. No, exactly. My brain just kind of blanked for a second because it says hurled items, which in my head was like, oh, so ranged attacks. But then it's like, no, it's a spear or, knife shuriken. Or something. Shuriken. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I got a dumb. That's all. All right. Damage. The amount of physical harm done to a victim by an attack. Damage is subtracted first from the defender's SDC, and then when that reaches 0 from hit points. And here's a fun table for basic damage. So
not a lot in here, but good enough to get you started.
Yes. Page 86.
And the main thing to note is that your basic punch does 1d4 damage. All right. Oh my God. Like this is gonna be a 9-hour stream if we keep.
I do need to sleep at some point, Max. No, I'm just kidding.
You're free to go whenever you. Holy crap, we got a lot more to go. I'm gonna probably stop after. I don't know. I might stop for a while and then come back later today.
How about?
Or I could just split this into multiple videos too.
Well, do you think we need to go over every single one of these options?
Yes.
Okay.
That was my intent. My intent was intentionally to go over every one of these options so that new people can take a look at what they are, maybe get some explanation that may or may not be better than the book. Probably not, but it may or may not be better than the book. And old Palladium fans can see what's changed.
Got it.
That's my point. And as always, because it is a live stream and not a video, you get our commentary whether you want it or not.
Probably not, but you get it anyways.
Do you want to do Murder Below, or you want me to take back up?
I'll keep going. Death Blow. Death Blow is an advanced form of critical strike that deals double damage direct to hit points.
Stop.
Death Blow.
Sean, I missed this one. Directly. That's an adverb. Directly to hit points. All right, go ahead.
Death blows are limited to the roll of a natural high strike roll. For example, death blow with melee attacks on a natural 20. Once unlocked via combat training, death blow can be applied to any melee attack, whether made with a weapon or unarmed, and automatically bypasses all kinds of armor. Death Blow cannot be applied to ranged attacks or attacks made against inanimate objects. But
I
it
can't
does
kill this glass's. I'm gonna punch this glass's soul.
but it does apply to autonomous robots and androids. See also Critical Strike and Natural 20. So,
Hold on a second. I gotta scroll back for just a moment.
okay.
No, smashing glass isn't you take a D4? Or I guess, oh, I wonder. That's actually, it is written that way. I was thinking that, no, you just deal a D4, but no, that does make sense. Yeah. If you're have you ever smashed a car window? Do you know why most people don't punch car windows? And I'm not talking about the front window that's got protection. I'm talking the side windows. Is because when they bring their arm out, they're trying to, what are we allowed to say on YouTube? They're trying to self-delete.
I was going to say, yeah, like there's a reason that safety glass exists.
Yeah.
And
so
it's
maybe smashing
plastic.
glass does do a D4 damage to you, because it's not the movies. I didn't think about that, but that's a good it's a good point. Because I was going to say no. You do a D4 damage to glass, but that doesn't make any sense because this is how much damage you do. Obviously a D4. Why would they put that out here again? They would just give it SDC. So yeah.
Yep. All right. Disarm. The act of removing an adjacent opponent's held weapon or object from their grasp. A disarm does no damage and uses up an action. Disarm is normally an attack action, but some combat training unlocks its use as a reaction. To disarm an opponent as an attack action, roll to strike as normal. To disarm as a reaction, the defender must roll higher than the adjacent opponent's attack roll. With a success, the target held item is forced out of the victim's grasp. The target item is either knocked away or falls to the ground. Disarm does not give the weapon to the character making the disarm move unless a critical strike is rolled. A failed disarm does no damage and means the opponent remains armed.
Okay.
So
do you have to declare death blow ahead of time? Well, let's see. Off the cuff, I'm going to say yes. But, crap, what page are we on? Brian, that's your job. Your job is to remember what page we're on. It's 88. Well, it's 88 for the PDF. I don't care what it is in the book.
Go back to Death Blow real quick. Okay. No, Death Blow is an advanced form of critical strike that deals double normal damage direct to hit points. So you don't have to declare it. If you get a critical strike, then you do double damage to the hit points.
What I wanted to look at is if any of the hand-to-hands got death blow, like you can declare death blow. I don't think so. But sometimes that is snuck into because death blow is usually like at 15th level or somewhere thereabouts anyway. But sometimes it'll be like automatic death blow actually, let me just put it that way. Grizzly Beardo, that's how it is pretty much in all Palladium games. If it doesn't say automatic, then you have to declare it or you have to have something else trigger it. In this case, like Brian was saying, the natural 20 or the critical strike would trigger it. So is there an automatic death blow in there anywhere? I don't even know if there's a declared death blow in there anywhere. That's what I was going to look for. But really, just look for the nomenclature. It'll be in your hand-to-hand skill or in your combat training skill.
Yeah, I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to declare it.
Not for what it says there. You're right. You don't have to declare it because that would be a critical hit, right?
Right.
So you already know that. So it probably says in the hand-to-hand skill, death blow on critical hit or something like that. But
it's probably
in the game,
death blow on 20, death blow on 19 or 20,
sure.
Death blow on 18, 19 or 20.
Right. But sometimes, especially in old Palladium, so the reason that's a good question is because in old Palladium, a lot of times you did have to declare, I'm trying to knock this guy out, or I'm trying to stun him, or did actually have to declare those things.
Right.
So, but here, I think for Death Blow, I think it is automatic, but only on criticals. But you know what? I'm not going to go back. We wasted a lot of time here, so we're going to keep going on. But you can read that in the book. That's how I'm pretty sure rule it. And hold on here, dodge. I'll let you do dodge, and then I'm going to take over the next column.
Sounds good.
Hold on, let me zoom back in on that for you.
Dodge is when a character moves out of the way of an attack or avoids attacks by moving in a way that makes it difficult for opponents to hit them. Dodging is a reaction that uses up an action, whether successful or not. To successfully dodge, the defender must roll better than the attacker's strike roll on a 20-sided die. If an attacker rolls a natural number to critical strike, the defender's dodge roll must be a naturally equal or higher roll on a d20. Defenders win ties. Self-explanatory.
I thought it was, well, never mind. I'm not going to say it. Okay. Entangle. Defender can attempt to trap the weapon or limb of an attacker as a reaction or as an attack action. As a reaction, this is done instead of parrying or dodging and uses up one of the defender's actions. So, if somebody's trying to swing at you and you're like, "Oh no, I want to entangle that weapon or I want to entangle that arm," it is going to cost you an action like dodge. To successfully entangle, the defender must roll better than the attacker's strike roll on a 20-sided die. An entangle is successful if the defender rolls above the attacker's strike roll, and means that the target limb and any weapon wielded by it cannot be used by the opponent until the end of the entangler's next action. In order to get free before the entangler's next action, the entangled opponent must attempt to free his limb as an attack action, rolling a strike roll to do so, which the entangler may attempt to parry without using up an action. Okay, I have to come back to that. At the start of the entangler's next action round, if he wants to keep the opponent's limb entangled, he must initiate a new entangle as an attack action. Okay, so I got hung up on something here, and I do not remember if I sent this information to Sean or not. And I'm not going to open up my email to find out right now. So if I did, okay, cool. And he probably answered it as to why it is the way it is, or like, oh God, I didn't see that. I honestly 100% don't remember. So I might be wrong about this. But did you notice the difference in the die rolling mechanic in this one?
No, because I got distracted.
Two things. One, it doesn't say tie goes to defender. And two, it says you have to roll above. As a reaction, to successfully entangle, the defender must roll better than the attacker's strike roll on a 20-sided die. I'm just going to be upfront with you. I don't like that. And the only reason I don't like that is I like consistency in my rules.
Yeah.
With that said, it's not a hard rule. You're just going to have to remember, like, when dodging and parrying, it's equal to, and when it's entangled, crap, you have to roll one higher. It's not that big of a deal. But I just, like I said, I like consistency in my rules.
Well, no, but
everything else is defenders win ties and says equal to or higher. Did he freeze or he's thinking? I think he froze again. It always gets him at like the wrong time. When he's got something important to say, it gets him. Oh, man. Poor Brian. So, again, it's not difficult. It's just like, armor rating back in the old days, right? You had to roll higher. In this case, just remember on this one, you have to roll higher. So, and like I said, I don't remember if I sent that information to Sean, said, hey, is this what you meant or whatever? And if he did respond to it, cool. If he didn't, I would have to look it up. So, that might be the way it was intended, or, again, you do you at the table. Personally, I would probably just make life consistent across the board and house rule it to say, hey, entangling is the same number. I can understand, like, well, wouldn't entangle be a little harder than just getting out of the way or just blocking? Yeah, I can understand the point. I'm just talking for consistency in rules. That's it. So there's nothing wrong with the rule the way it is. So, that's all. All right. Every time you want to say something, important or something that's just, riveting. Yeah, Pop, I think you're doing this on purpose now.
I just want to mess with your stream, Max.
Well, that's fair.
It's working.
Do you know what you were going to say?
I don't remember anymore.
Okay.
It's fun.
So in order to get free before Entangler's next action, must attempt to free the limbs with an attack action, rolling a strike roll to do so. So if I entangle Brian, I got your arm held, or however I'm doing it, right? Maybe I'm grasping it like this, or maybe I'm just pushing it to his side or some crap like that, right? However it happens to be. I rolled that one higher than what he rolled to strike me, so I entangled it before you could hurt me. Good job. He can try to get away, but for him, it costs an action. For me, it does not. So if I just use my kung fu move, if he tries to punch and I get my arm around his, and now it's entangled underneath underneath my arm like that, and I've got him, he can try to pull away or push away or punch me or whatever, try to do something to get it away. Maybe he's got some sort of what do they call that, momentum maneuver, use my physics against me, whatever it happens to be. But he has to use an attack to do that. I do not have to use an attack to prevent it. Now, you might say, whoa, that doesn't make sense. Well, I'm giving you kind of a grappling example. Maybe a better example wouldn't include grappling, but whatever. Don't get so pedantic about it. Very simply, he has to use an action to try to get unentangled. I don't have to use an action to try to prevent him from getting unentangled. Whatever I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
All right. I think I came up with a way to justify it.
Okay.
An entangle is a type of simultaneous attack. Words aren't wording, so I'm doing my best here.
Okay.
And so the attacker's coming in and doing something. The defender, the reason they're not getting it on the tie is because they're making another kind of attack. He's coming in at me. I'm going to tie him up. So I'm making an attack. My target number is now the attack roll that he got. I have to beat that instead of tie it.
Again, I just go back. You can rationalize it how you want. I mean, none of it's hard. It's just I like consistency.
I agree, but I'm just saying here I'm trying to find a way to keep it in your consistency
it's not going to, because it falls under reaction. All reactions should roll the same way.
That's fair. Anyways.
So, I mean, again, your methodology or your rationale isn't necessarily wrong. I'm not complaining in terms like, oh my God, this doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying I like consistency. I mean, what is the most famous ninja entangle out there?
You'll have to tell me.
Swings the katana down. He goes,
That's true. How did I not think of that?
All right. So you've entangled that weapon. Don't do this at home, folks. You will lose your palms. But you've got the weapon, right? Because you're a ninja and you're awesome at this. Now, if he tries to pull it away, you just keep going with it. You don't have to make an attack roll to parry, and you can try to kick him or some crap. I don't know. But the whole idea is once you entangle the weapon, he has to make an action, or he can just let go of it. If it's a weapon, if it's his arm, I guess you got it. I guess you got it in some sort of hold. And then we go read the hold section later. But I'm probably over imagining this because I want my ninja action. All right. Where are we? Oh, hand-to-hand combat. See combat training. Again, this is for the old Palladium people. We're used to calling them hand-to-hand skills because that's what they're called in every other book, but it's called combat training now. Hit points. Representation of how close a character is to death, measured by how many points of damage a character can take before dying. Characters who take damage don't normally lose hit points until their SDC is down to 0, but death blows, toxins, and other dangers can bypass a character's personal SDC and deal damage directly to hit points. A character's base hit points is the endurance attribute plus 1d6 at first level. Refer to my character creation video to see how that was done and the mistake I made, but I caught it before the end of the video. Another 1d6 hit points are gained every time the character levels up. Losing hit points is painful, and recovering them usually requires medical attention, periods of long rest, and, see the recovery from damage section. We're not going to cover that today. This video is already going to be crazy long as it is. And like I said, I might take a break and just come back to some of this later on, too. So, all right. Wow, he broke his wooden hockey stick. Poor guy, you lost a hockey stick.
Don't those things break all the time?
Not anymore. They did in the 80s because they were made out of wood. Now they're made out of these polymer. Dude, I was watching the Minnesota State High School hockey tournament last year, and these sticks are like bending like that. And just, when you do like a one-timer, that thing is like, and that puck just goes, wah! Things that we could never even imagine before. Like, holy crap. Like, I had a wooden stick growing up. Oof. the flexibility of those things. They should put a rule in there that it can't bend more than like 3 degrees or some crap, because that's just insane.
Well, no, but don't forget, this game came out
In the
40
80s,
years ago, so it would have been a wooden hockey stick.
Yeah, well, some things are modernized.
Apparently not hockey sticks.
Apparently not hockey sticks. That's a good point. Holds. Using both hands, the attacker grabs an opponent, attempts to immobilize him. Rawr. Basically, this is your wrestling stuff. If the strike is successful, then the attacker chooses the type of hold to execute. So you get to choose the type of hold to execute. And the victim is helpless until released. Neither the attacker nor the victim can move, attack, parry, dodge, or otherwise react as normal hold. Okay, so this is a real hold. This would be, so what I was describing before would probably be an arm lock and not an entangle. You make up your entangle as you want. But when I've got him, I can't do crap either because I'm focused on holding him so he can't go anywhere. When he's held, he's just trying to free himself so that he can do something. So neither the attacker nor the victim can move, attack, parry, dodge, or otherwise react as normal during a hold. This means it's easy for the game master and potential... Wait, what? Oh, there we go. By the way, when you do spreads like this, you're supposed to put all the text up. Just saying. So where are we here? This means it's easy for other characters to attack a victim held by an ally. The victim may attempt to break free of a hold on his turn as an attack action, making a strike roll to do so, which the holder may attempt to parry without using up an action. So as long as I'm trying to hold you in place, I'm not using up an action. However, I'm still holding you, so guess what I can't do? Pretty much take an action. So if the victim fails, then the hold continues. If the victim succeeds, then the hold ends. No damage is dealt. And combat continues as normal. No damage? What do you mean? Well, get the wrestling skill. Arm hold. This type of hold involves twisting the victim's arm. Oh, so this is, okay, so it's a joint lock behind the arm. Okay. The holder may attempt to disarm the victim on subsequent terms. The holder and allies are +5 to disarm the victim. Once you got the hand back here, if he's holding onto a knife or something, it's easier to disarm. Notice it's not perfect because we've all seen that. Like, we're still going to hold it. What you do, you turn the wrist and make him stab himself. Stop punching yourself. Stop punching yourself.
No,
I mean, stop stabbing yourself. Stop stabbing. So, leg hold. With this type of hold, the attacker is standing, but the victim is prone on the ground with his leg up in joint lock. The victim cannot stand up and loses initiative. You're done. This is when so if Brian's doing that to me, this is when Brian's buddies come up to me and just start kicking me in the face. There's not much I can do about it. Body or neck hold. This type of hold, both the attacker and victim are either standing or prone. Holder's choice. Allies that melee attack the victim, and the victim cannot react, get an automatic critical strike or stun if the attack will succeed. So that's not a natural 20. That's a natural 5.
Natural 5.
I mean, I've actually witnessed a fight where people are scrapping and you'd think somebody had come up and this little punk kid came up to go kick the guy and he completely missed and slipped and fell down. So if you're like, it's an automatic hit. No, I've actually seen dum-dums miss. Plus the guy, even if he's held, he's still wiggling a little bit. So. And the Crushinator, the crush attack. After gaining a successful hold on a victim, on following terms as an attack action, the holder may crush the victim. Roll to strike is normal, but 5 or higher succeeds as a victim cannot react. Success deals the attacker's unarmed melee damage. And ooh, if you have like a lot of bonus to strength. Characters with wrestling deal extra damage, extra +4 to be exact, with this attack, in addition to bonuses from strength, combat training, etc. Yeah, this can be devastating. The crush attack. Imagine, so, what was the Undertaker, like 6'8" or something like that, coming to my 5'9", 160 pounds. No, I'm not. I'm way more than that because I'm fatter. But we'll just say 160 pounds because, getting fit right now. And he just decided to start squeezing me. I'm not going to like that at all. I mean, it'd be a cool death because the Undertaker did it. But I wouldn't. So, all right, Brian, Tell us who goes first.
Me. I mean,
Okay. Well, you do now. You won it. It's your turn in the initiative order, sir.
Whoever acts first in combat has the initiative, with others acting in descending order after that, as determined by dun dun dun.
Oh God, it goes up here.
Keep going. The game master and potential initiative dice rolls. Characters who lose the initiative, commonly the result of a melee hold, tackle, or throw, drop to the bottom of the initiative order. Characters who gain the initiative move to the top of the initiative order.
So those gain initiative, lose the initiative, come from things like throws and so forth. I think we'll see some more of that in a little bit. What I love about this paragraph, though, and I know some people are going to hate it, and I get it. I get it. But notice how much it says that basically the game master is in control of the flow of the combat. Potentially initiative dice rolls, but determined by the game master.
Yeah.
So even though you only roll initiative one time for the entire combat, the game master is in control of all of that. Now you got to trust your game master, but you might have some game masters like me who will probably still roll initiative every round, or I will find lots of reasons to have initiative dice re-rolled. I shouldn't say that yet. I have not played this at a real table yet to determine that. Maybe I will really like this, but it's just always been I've never liked games that only roll initiative once. But
yeah, and this one, like, it's kind of weird because like my brain's like, well, that's kind of lame. Like if they lose initiative, well, then they just drop to the bottom and then they're stuck in that initiative spot.
Mm-hmm.
But if they gain initiative, they move to the top and then they're quote unquote stuck in that initiative spot. And I don't know, it doesn't seem granular enough.
Think of it as a type of
Palladium.
momentum. If you start taking me and throwing me around like a rag doll, no matter how much I want to fight, the chances are I'm not going to have the possibility of me gaining initiative on you is much lower, right?
Right.
Now, instead of trying to do some sort of weird calculus here to determine, does this count as me being, a little off balance and him having momentum or whatever else? The game just says roll initiative once, and if you throw me around, I am now at the bottom of the initiative order because you're chucking me like a rag doll. But there are things I can do to try to get the initiative back. Also, we can influence. Remember when before you were talking about was he thrown in the cardboard boxes? Sure, I was thrown in the cardboard boxes. Well, do you want to stumble your way through the cardboard boxes as I'm trying to kick them in front of you and to try to scramble backward maybe a little bit more? Maybe that now allows me an initiative roll. Not that round necessarily, but as you're trying to come forward, I'm kicking all these boxes and you're trying to push them out of the way and step around them or step on them or whatever. That might be the change of combat that I need to now allow me initiative roll next round. I just won't get it this round, and hopefully I can scramble far enough away from you that you can't come in and, kick me in the dick, right? So, does that make sense? Yes, Max, it does. He froze again. He froze again. But I made sense to me, and that's all that matters. So, but yeah, so this idea of just roll combat at the beginning of the or roll initiative at the beginning of combat and you never ever roll it again can be true, but isn't necessarily true. I will probably be a little bit more generous about re-rolling initiatives because I like that style. Others might not. Others might just be somewhere in the middle on an absolute case-by-case basis. And I've seen people actually roll initiative. Well, you're going to be at the bottom of the initiative order, but between these three, we're going to determine which one of you goes last, something like that. I've seen things like that before, not in Palladium games, but I've seen that in other games. So, all right, leap attack. Oh my God, Brian's going to miss leap attack. How dare he miss leap attack? This is a favorite of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the airborne assault where weapons or limbs are wielded in mid-leap. A leap attack can only be made at the beginning of a round of combat, uses up 2 of the character's actions, and is the only offensive action the leap attacker can make for the round. Okay, he's back in time for leap attack.
This is a favorite of the TMNT.
I already read that.
Oh,
did you want to read it? If you want to read it, go ahead.
You said that I was back in time for the leap attack, so I figured...
Well, I'm sorry. Well, I had read that part, but go ahead. You can read this section.
Okay.
Go for it.
We're such a disaster. All right. The airborne assault where weapons or limbs are wielded in mid-leap. A leap attack can only be made at the beginning of a round of combat. Uses up 2 of the character's actions and is the only offensive action the leap attacker can make for the round. The attacker immediately jumps as a move action to be adjacent to their target opponent. They get a running start if they have space. Usually only a single opponent can be hit with a leap attack. However, if 2 opponents are adjacent to each other, the attacker can leap between them to strike both in one deft motion. So you can kick both of them in the face at the same time. A successful leap attack deals double damage. Leap attacking uses up 2 of the character's actions, and their remaining actions can only be used to parry, dodge, roll with impact, or to change posture. No attack actions or reactions, including defensive ones like disarm, entangle, throw, tackle, are possible. Making a leap attack using the feet in melee is also called a jump kick.
All right. Anything you want to say about that?
No.
Okay. See, just as he said, you have to use it at the beginning of the round. So how do I say? Palladium has a little bit different math when it comes to critical strikes. All right. So a normal kick, I think, is a D6 damage. That means a leap attack is 2d6 damage because there's various rationales for it. I don't exactly know what Palladium's is, but the way I rationalize it is because it takes 2 actions. It's basically already its own critical attack. So let's add the strength on there. If you normally did 1d6 plus 2, now you're doing 2d6 plus 4, right? If you get a critical strike on there, you're not doubling that 2d6 to 4d6. Critical math in Palladium, no matter how many X's it gives you, is plus 1-ish. Actually, you kind of remove. It's just such a pain it's so easy to implement, but I always have a hard time describing it. If you get times 2, okay, it's times the base die. That's the base die. His base die damage is 1d6, right? That's the base die. So your critical will be 2d6 because it's double, right? If it's double again, doubling of 1d6 adds 1d6 to it. Therefore, you get 1d6 added onto it. So instead of being quadruple damage, it's actually only triple damage.
So you're doubling the base value and adding all of the doubling together.
Just the doubling portion of it, not the base die. I know. I don't know how to explain. It's funny because when I show it, like if I had to put like a spreadsheet up here, I could show it. And here's where this matters, because at some point your character is going to get times 3 critical damage. So how would that work for a leap attack? It works like this. Leap attack is already times 2 damage, right? So you got 2. Times 3 damage would actually quadruple the damage. It's 1 less than the multiplier for a number of dice you roll, if it's 1d6. So if you are already doing times 3 damage and then you add times 2 damage on it, your overall is times 4. I know. I don't know how to explain. I can show it. I can't freaking describe it right. It's actually really simple, but I make it as clear as mud. And really, it comes down to things like, okay, well, I got a critical times 4, but I also get times 2 damage because of some magic spell, and you get all these multipliers on there. Just remove the base die. So if it says times 2 damage, just treat it as instead of adding. Times 2 is easy. If you're doing like times 3 times 3 times 2, okay? So that would actually be add 2 dice, add 2 dice, add 1 die. If it's a d6 damage. By the way, this gets all screwed up if you start saying your natural damage is like 2d4. Because then your base die is 2d4 and you'd be adding more. At some point, it's linear, not exponential. I guess that's a way of saying it.
That That is worded horribly.
No. Well, I can't word it right. The thing is the math works out. The thing is it's more like step ups. It's not true multiples. It's step ups.
Right.
So if I do 2d4 damage, and I get a critical hit, I'm doing 4d4 damage because that doubles it, right?
Right.
If I do times 3 damage, just as a critical hit times 3 damage, that'd be 6d4 because that triples it, right?
Right.
Okay. What if I get triple damage and double damage? Base is 2d4. My critical hit is triple damage, and then I add double damage on top of that for whatever reason.
So you're doing 64 plus 2d4.
No.
If I'm remembering it correctly. No.
You'd be doing 6. I'm sorry. Actually, no. You're right. You're right because it starts with 2d4. You're right because it starts with 2d4. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I get my critical times 3.
Yep.
But then I'm not doubling
it's not a multiplier
my triple.
Of 2. Yep.
Think
of every multiplier. Just if you reduce the multiplier by 1, that's how many sets of base dice you're adding on there. If it's 1d4, if it's times 2 multiplier, you're adding 1d4 onto it because you're reducing that multiplier by 1. And that's what, if you're rolling 3d4 damage and you have a times 3 critical, you're adding 6d4 more damage on there because the base die is 3d4 and you add a multiplier of 2, not 3, even though it says 3.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, shit. Yeah, add the multipliers together, subtract 1. That's how 3 does 3e? Oh, I guess he's talking Dungeons & Dragons. I don't know how to explain. Like I said, it's really simple. It's just the more I talk about it, the more I'm sure I'm confusing people on this.
You are. I don't think anyone in chat understands what you're talking about.
No, all the Palladium people know. They know what the rules are. We were talking about this on my Discord a couple of days ago. They all got it.
Max, and it's not your fault.
Each extra multiplier a step, not a straight added multiplier. Yes.
Right.
You know what? If I don't have like a whiteboard that I can show on the screen here, I guess I could bring up like a notepad document or something. Maybe, you know what I'll do? I'm going to do a video on that, I think, by itself, where I actually have like my little presentation because it is so simple. It is so simple. But oh my God, the way I'm explaining it is probably like everybody's like, screw this game sucks. It's horrible. It's not. It's very, very simple.
No, I think I've finally got it. I like that idea of, or I like that explanation of you're not multiplying multipliers. You're just adding additional multiplier, but taking out the base because you're only like the times 2 doesn't add in the base again because you've already got the base.
Right.
So you've got your base times 3, but then you have this times 2. So take 1 out. So it's adding 1 in. So now it's times 4. It's weird. It's convoluted, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. And it's practice.
To be fair, I don't think you're ever going to run into that in TMNT like you do in some of the other games because of things like magic and psionics and superpowered weapons and so forth. So he puts an abacus in there.
I don't know why, but that made me laugh a lot.
That was good. Nice abacus there. Umbra Operator, I will do a video on that in the future. I think this is an important thing to get across to folks because it is really, really simple. I'm making it more convoluted than people think THAC0 is. So
I don't. That's why I said it is confusing, but it's not your fault. I get it.
But it's not Palladium's fault either. It makes sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense is, and I get why they do it though, is putting that multiplier on there because people think, oh, you just multiply it by. So yes, times 3 is. Wait.
Times 3 plus times 2 is times 4.
Yeah, okay. Oh, so he's just saying that he's doing it like D&D 3rd edition. Okay, I don't really care what D&D 3rd edition does, but if that's what other people out there... Here, let me put this on the screen. Nerdy Ogre probably wants me to say this out loud. He says, yep, times 3 plus times 2 is a times 4. Palladium is doing it like D&D 3rd edition. Great. I don't like 3rd edition. But, for this, it makes sense. That goes easy. This sounds impossible. It's not.
It's not.
I'm going to shut up about it because I think I'm making it worse.
Well, no, and like I'll use here. Let me times it. Let me do this. So times 3 plus times 2 plus, and I'm putting this in chat so everyone will be able to see it. Plus times 4 would equal, so 3, 4 times 7.
Yeah, if somehow you got a ×3 multiplier, ×2 multiplier, and a ×4 multiplier. So that would be 1d4, so that'd be 3d4, 4d4, 6, 7d4, yeah. Yes, he's got that right. Now everybody's like, what the hell? It's just new math. But I wish I knew how to explain that in a more... I'm sure there's a Rifter article out there, because I've seen it actually in writing before that can describe it better. Plus, if we were to write it on the screen, it'd probably make more sense to folks. So anyway, I don't want to convolute this anymore, and I certainly don't want to give Palladium a bad rap and have people say, this is why the game's clunky. It's not. No. I'm describing it horribly. You know, maybe Malachi's just, if you play D&D 3rd edition, you know how it works. And all the old Palladium folks know how it works. And Brian looks like he's staring off into space like he's frozen again. Awesome. All right, melee and melee attack. I use a Minnesotan accent, so get over it. Even though he says pronounced melee, that is right. Is a brawl between adjacent opponents and a term often used to describe any variety of close combat between characters. Okay, it's taking the biggest multiplier, adding all the multipliers subsection into a single number. No. So it would be 2 and 1 is 3 plus 3, 6. The first multiplier is itself. Every other multiplier reduced by 1. That's the easiest way to say it. The first multiplier, so if the first multiplier is ×3, that's right. Every other multiplier just reduced by 1. That's the way to say it. So how about each multiplier is an extra instance of the damage? Yes. There you go, Umbra Opera. Each multiplier is an extra instance of the damage dice, but you have to reduce it by 1 still, because otherwise you're including the base dice in there. But that is close. After the first multiplier, then you're 100% right. Wait, no.
Yeah.
How about each multiplier is an extra instance of the damage dice? No, because it has to be still multiplier -1. After the first instance. The first instance, in the example of ×3, can I put this on the screen? Yeah, I can. In the example of so right there, you do damage. Who cares what it is? 1d4, 66, whatever. The first instance, if you do triple damage, well, guess what? You have your base dice ×3. There you go. If it's 1d4 damage, then you're doing 3d4. For the next instance of a stacker on there, for whatever reason that happens to be, instead of ×2, it's 1 more instance of base dice. So instead of rolling 3d4, he's rolling 4d4. And for that third multiplier, don't know how the hell you got a ×4, but man, that was some good magic. It would be, instead of ×4, it'd be +3 more base dice. So he'd have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets of dice, sets of damage dice that he'd be rolling. It's because it's more of a step up than what gets people hung up, myself included, is it's got that multiplier on there, because by itself, that's what it is. It's just after you already have one multiplier, it's a step up. And that's where the confusion comes in. Now, I know a lot of people who still say, dude, I don't care. I just, inflict all the damage. Okay. As long as you're doing it for PCs and NPCs, it's fair across the board. Your game's going to be a little deadlier, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's another great point. You want a deadly game? Ignore this entire discussion.
I'm sure Sean, Kevin, Jeremy, Wayne, whatever, Alex are all going to watch this and be like, oh my God, what's he doing to our company right now?
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Like I said, I think I'm just I'll put a video together that.
No, but the thing is that It is that hard. You have to understand, when you finally grab the concept, okay, fine, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's that initial grabbing.
Right. And that's where I was getting hung up, but
Everybody gets hung up.
but that's the great thing about shows like this is we're sitting here, we're discussing it, and suddenly it starts to make sense. So,
all right, I don't think I read this whole thing. Melee and melee attack. A melee attack is a combat strike against opponent within reach using limbs, natural weapons, or handheld weapons for melee round C round. The reason that this language is important is especially when it comes to things like bonuses to strike that we talked about before. If you get a +2 to your melee attack, well, then it includes all these types of attacks. You know what it doesn't include? You using a bow or a gun. So, and just remember, Turtles is a more stripped down game compared to things like Rifts that include magic and psionics and heavy weapons and all this other weird stuff in there. So you're probably not even going to run into a situation where you are stacking criticals, except for Leap Attack. And Leap Attack literally told you what to roll. So, okay. Multiple attackers. Let me see here just a second here. I want to do this one, and then you can come back in with natural armor, because you always get the armor sections. Attackers who outnumber their opponents can surround, flank, or otherwise overwhelm them, also called harrying people. For each combat capable, that means you're not stunned, you're not blinded, etc. You are, fully involved in the combat. Adjacent opponent after the first, a defender is at a penalty of +1 to parry up to a maximum penalty of -5 for 6 adjacent opponents. Hexes are always better than squares, so thank you, Palladium, for using hexes. And this is a little bit different than the normal Palladium rule that I think people brought up. I think it was in the character creation video, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was earlier in this video. This video has been going on for like 94 hours, so who knows?
And 94 to go.
And 94 to go. I'm definitely going to take a break at some point here and maybe come back later. Maybe I'll just stream again tomorrow. I don't know. And I'm going through all of these. And if I'm smart, I probably won't be smart. I'm going to try to timestamp every one of these rules so people can hear us talk about them. So then if you want to look something up, you can just refer to the video and the timestamp. But I probably won't be that cool because that means I have to listen to 3.5 hours of crap again.
So I'm voting for tomorrow.
He's voting for tomorrow? Okay. I'm voting for whenever I feel like doing it, which could be today or tomorrow, so we'll see.
That's fair.
There are some people who are kind of irked that I did this in the morning, so maybe I do an afternoon one to appease them. I don't know. Anyway, -1. This is different than the Palladium rule that some people spouted at me earlier today because he's changed it, and this just makes sense. It's nice and simple. It's a -1 to parry up to a maximum penalty of -5 for 6 adjacent opponents. There you go, because you can have 6 people that surround you. Can I parry all 6 of them? Sure, but they're all going to be at -5. Each adjacent ally allows the defender to ignore 1 point of penalty to parry for multiple attackers. So if you got the whole thing of going back to back, Brian and I are fighting back to back. I have 3 on me, he has 3 on him, right? Well, now my penalty is -2. Wait a minute. No, it isn't. It's only -1. Why? It's -2 because I have 3 attackers attacking me, but one of those modifiers is removed because we're back to back. So it's a -1 to my parry. Still a penalty, but it's not as bad. So defenders with weapon proficiency now beat Magnet. Here you go. I was not ignoring you. Defenders with weapon proficiency paired and armed with their designated weapons ignore this penalty to parry. Now you do have to designate the weapon. Tonfa, Kamas, Sai, whatever. So let's read about our favorite Ninja Turtle, Raphael, and his Sai. He's fighting 3 Foot Clan ninjas and ignores the multiple attacker penalty because he has weapon proficiency paired Sai. However, a ninja successfully disarms one of his Sai. Uh-oh. Raphael is now at a -2 to parry attacks from any of his adjacent opponents. Donatello, seeing his brother in trouble, makes a move action to be adjacent to Raphael, which reduces the penalty to -1 and helps even the odds of the fight. There we go. So, hold on a second. I do want to see how much we have left here. Natural armor, reactions, round, SDC. Example combat will be skipping, damage effects and recovery. You know what? Let's do natural armor simply because we've talked about armor so much today. I think it's a good breaking point. And then I think after this we stop, and then I either come back this afternoon or we come back tomorrow or whatever. You good with that?
Uh-huh.
All right. So finish us up with natural armor. There you go.
All right. Natural armor is found on mutants and creatures with a tough skin or a hard body covering, as well as advanced bioarmor and objects like tanks. Tanks are natural armor?
Well, yeah. Wait. Hard to, as well as advanced bioarmor and objects like yeah. So no, tanks are if I shoot a 9mm at a tank, it's not going to damage it. There's no mega damage in this game. So it's a way of expressing that I can shoot a 9mm at that tank 1,000 times and it's gonna scratch the paint and that's it.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. All right, natural armor is so tough and resilient that any attack roll equal to or below the character's armor rating does no damage. Did we find another one?
Just keep going.
Okay. No, because I
hope I did not spend that entire. I got to look at his email now.
Other than scuffs or scratches, only a roll above the character's natural armor rating inflicts damage, which is also a direct contradiction to the armor example above, because it had natural armor and worn body armor in the exact same example, and the natural armor was 8.
I know I'm right, but I have to look at this simply because of the fact that this is the part where it's like, oh crap, did I get his intent wrong? Because that would really, well, first of all, probably piss him off, but secondly, piss me off for not getting it right as well. Give me a moment here. Okay, regarding AR is always the target number. There we go. Note that should be blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read this. Is a private email. I'm not going to read it all. Okay. AR is always the target number. AR is always the target number. AR is always the target number.
So this is wrong.
Yes.
Natural armor is okay. So I'm going to read this the right way. Natural armor is so tough and resilient that any attack roll below the character's armor rating does no damage. Only a roll equal to or above the character's natural armor rating inflicts damage.
Right. There you go. So, yes. And we've been saying that from the beginning. The only reason I got confused is because this paragraph was so poignant. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, no. Wait, did I do this wrong? So, and Sean and I have had a couple of, we'll just say back and forth on this. I do not want to get it wrong for them. So, but yes, we were doing it right. At least according to his email that he sent me.
Armor is always the target number.
Right.
If you equal or exceed, then you do damage to the squishy bits.
Right. And for anybody who missed the beginning of this, when we dove into that deeper, we talked about it earlier. It's always the target number. And depending on if it's natural body armor or if it's artificial, worn body armor, whatever, it's different than the old Palladium way. But it is consistent in that both are, if you've got an AR, doesn't matter. So if Brian, let's say Brian's got natural AR 12. I just like using the number 12 for some reason. And I've got artificial AR 12. The difference is this. A 12 or better hits either of us. That's it. Because we have AR 12. That means a 12 hits me or hits him, depending who you're shooting at. Differences with natural body armor. If you roll less than that 12, it basically bounces off. I mean, you can argue, well, 0 to 4 is a miss. That's fine, whatever. But below a 12, it bounces off. For me, with the worn body armor, rolling between a 5 and 11 hits my body armor and damages that. That's not natural armor, what we're reading here. That's artificial. A 0 to 4 is a miss, and nothing gets hurt. For natural body armor, or natural armor, it is really simple. Just roll that number or higher. You do damage. Roll less than that number, you don't do damage. Move on. That's simple.
And don't quote me on this, but I'm going to assume that natural armor is also going to be typically lower. So it'll be your like a 6, a 7, an 8, not going to be, like a 12, a 14 or something like that. My guess.
So something seems wrong about that. Turtle with heavy armor of 14 doesn't, for the most part, need to use actions to dodge. You're probably right. Got big old turtle shell. And I think turtle armor goes up to 18. We'll look at that, and then we're going to call it a stream. We're going to start the next one on natural 20. So whether I do it later on today or I do it tomorrow, we're going to start with the natural 20. And like I said, I'm going to try. Man, I see this on other YouTube channels. If one of you guys could do this, this would make me the happiest person. Hell, I might even have a free giveaway if that happens. For folks. Timestamp every of these one of these entries. Else, I'm going to try to do it as we, as I have time to go back to it. So if you want to look up natural armor, you know what the timestamp for that is. If you want to look up holds, you know what the timestamp for that is. That's what I'd like to do because I'd like to have this better searchable, and I'm not cutting it into 30 videos. So, but we're going to start next time with natural 20, and then now. I will show a turtle in here. I don't know what page they start on. I'll just start at 30. Hey, we're in ducks. So, turtle. You can control F. What's the fun in that? Plus, the word turtle is probably in this book all over the place. There's Splinter for you. There's a shark. Okay, Wolverine. So there's that looks turtle-ish. I must have turtles. Here we go. So turtles can purchase. Costs a lot of bio E points. Yeah. 14. Okay. For some reason, I thought it went up to 18. But yeah.
Wow.
But it costs 35 points.
And how much do they have?
Well, again, depends on size level and so forth. So what's the size? What size do turtles start with? Okay. Pond turtles, which is TMNT, start at size 1. Okay, so it's the smallest you can be, and it gets 90 points. So if you go to the base 6, that's just how I do it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 25. So you're down to 65. So you got about 65 bio E. There's 55, 45, 35. Well, you're not getting anything else, but you can get there's your 35 right there. So you can do it, but you're probably not getting anything else. So, anyway, yeah, I mean that's just part of the natural feature of the animal. I don't have a problem with that. Do they get any bonuses? Yeah, they get no physical strength. They don't get any other bonuses. They just get the ability to purchase that. At least I'm not seeing snapping turtles. Should have already been. Attribute bonus. They get physical endurance +2. Okay. Just one little minor bonus, whatever. So they're kind of made to take the damage. Turtles are made to take damage. I'm okay with that. Yeah, you got to roll 14 or higher to hurt a turtle. And to be fair, if you go back to the old Palladium rules, the only difference is this 14 effectively is a 13. No, I'm sorry, it's effectively a 15. 15. Because you got to roll 15 or higher if you have in the old way of doing it. So they actually weaken the turtles by a smidge. So cool. All right, Brian. I'm going to end this, but anything you want to tell the fine folks out there? We only made $10 in super chat, so I'm not hanging out. There's no giveaway or anything like that for today. How do I stop sharing? How about stop sharing there? Anything you want to shout out for your channel?
Check out Gaming with ADHD. I've got my new office, so hopefully I'll be putting out more regular content. And as always, check out Reading Wikis for you for fun. Just if you want just some background noise,
And is there anything that folks should watch on a Wednesday evening?
Oh, and on Wednesday, oh my God, provided the internet works.
Hey, it doesn't matter anymore. I got you.
That's right. Oh, provided the internet works. Yeah. Wednesday night, Max and I are going to keep going on our MechWarrior deep dive. I completely forget what we're talking about this week. but come, we'll talk more MechWarrior and general BattleTech shenanigans. It'll be great. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
There we go. All right. So, like I said, I will be back whenever I feel like being back to do this again. If my wife gives me more time today, I will do it today. If not, well, then I'll probably have to do it tomorrow. And, I'm sure Brian would prefer tomorrow, but you know what? He wasn't even here half the time anyway because of his dumb internet.
That's fair.
But no, it was fun, Brian. Thank you for this. You actually made it fun.
Thanks for having me.
I definitely had more fun doing this with you than, doing it by myself. But at the same time, I gotta get these videos out. So, so we'll see. We'll see when I do it.
Sure.
Upcoming Sunday on RPG Digest. I don't know what we're covering.
There be something.
It'll be something. Maybe even Palladium related. Maybe I'll just talk more turtles. I don't know. Probably not. Ooh, I could cover transdimensional. That's a cheap way of doing. No, I got to get through transdimensional so I can make some characters. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. there's a video premiere of team characters, and it will not dive into the same stuff that I dove into today for the individual character. It will dive into different things, the things that make team characters different than individual characters. So please look forward to that. And whether I stream again today or tomorrow, who knows? And other than that, I guess this entire week is up in the air. If I don't see you before then, I hope each and every one of you has a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, travel safely, if you're even allowed to travel. I don't even know, are airplanes flying anymore? Who knows? But be safe, be smart, enjoy the football games, enjoy the turkey, enjoy the family. These videos will always be here. You don't have to join me when you got family that needs you more than I do in this. So I guess with that, I will see everybody later. Oops, hold on. I forgot that this is RPG Digest. I got to put my thank you. I just thought I was doing some random stream here. There we go. Thank you, everybody.